All right. So, guys, we're now live. We're now back in Cebuano Hoops Live. So, today is a Thursday. There's no game, but there is a lot of basketball that we could talk about. Okay. So, tonight we'll be talking about our local league, the PBA. All right. I know the first time that we did this, it was really kind of like anong word messy kay to siya is somehow nakuratan sad mi sa PBA ato nga time, but right now we thought about it. We're gonna talk about like what changes we could suggest would really make the PBA fun, right? And we're gonna talk about like mga players whose career didn't pan out in the PBA and mga local Cebuano talents who didn't make it to the PBA side, who could have had at least a decent career sa PBA. Okay? So before we get started though, let me just introduce the guys I'm gonna be with tonight. Okay? First up, all right, the guy from the other island of Cebu, Jaff. Maing gabi, how are you, man?
What's going on to everybody watching Cebuano Hoops Live, wherever you may be? We are your go-to 8:30. See what I did there? I made that rhyme. We are your go-to 8:30 show, talking about everything from hoops related, locally, internationally, you name it, we got it here. Mad shout out to everybody again watching Cebuano Hoops Lives, our diehard fans, and to everybody from wherever you may be in the Philippines. What's up? Let's do it. Let's go.
All right. So next guy I'm with right now, our resident champion supporter. All right, from Ormoc City, Migs. How are you? Good to have you.
Hey, hey.
See your face back in the
Yeah.
podcast.
I know, man. Globe's doing well right now, so far. Suspicious. Okay.
They might hit you when
Hey,
you leave.
hello, Metro. Hello. Yeah.
All
Hello,
right.
Metro. Hello, Ormoc.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
hello to all our listeners. I hope everyone's staying warm because I was watching the videos of all the floodings Ormoc. Ha.
Mm-hmm.
Mango
Oh,
was crazy, man. Was that what you call a
or more
mango
or Cebu?
float?
No, Cebu.
Cebu.
Cebu. Oh, okay, okay,
Cebu.
Motoy mango
okay.
float. Literal
Mango float.
So, of course, uh, big what's up to Aika, who's always tuning in, to Joshua Velayo and the rest of the Velayos in Espina Village, to Neville Hills, to Brad Neil Munasilio, my brother from another mother. He's actually a pastor, guys. If you talk to him, you might never figure that out, but he's a pastor. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Aren't
If
sir.
most
you want to
pastors
talk about
weren't? Yeah,
basketball,
you weren't most pastors bad
one
boys
who's live.
before.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's,
Pastors live double lives.
yeah, true, true. So I think you do have like something to plug regarding Fairy Tales.
Yeah. So guys, yeah, I just want to bring up one of my advocacies.
Bogus.
Now, if you're friends on Facebook, you know I have a lot. But this one is very close to my heart. This is Fairy Tales Hinundayan. They're actually a dog shelter run by a husband and wife in southern Leyte. They rescue cats and dogs. Now, if you don't know, uh, cats or dogs which are caught by the local pound, if they are not claimed within 3 days, they have to be put down. No? They are put down, they are euthanized, which is a very sad fate for our furry friends. So this husband and wife team, the Gintos, they've dedicated basically their whole lives to rescuing, rehoming, and vaccinating, putting these dogs and cats up for adoption.
Yes, sir.
So currently, they're in the process of constructing a new structure for their female dogs because one of their projects actually is to spay and neuter
Mm-hmm.
dogs to lessen the amount of dogs and cats, stray dogs and cats. So they're doing a really good job. They're doing God's work, really.
Yes,
and they've
sir.
dedicated their whole lives to this. They're asking for our help. No, so if you have anything extra, no, let's donate to Fairy Tales Hinundayan. They've been featured on Philippine Star. They've been featured by ABS-CBN, so you know they're legit.
All right.
So what they do need, is what feeds for the dog structure. So yun, hey guys, adopt, don't shop. Let's donate if we can. And let's try to help out. So Mark,
Yes.
thank you for letting me plug that.
No problem,
Very
mate.
close to my heart, man.
No problem, mate. All right. So now that we've got that all set up, okay. So guys, support. That was Fairy Tales Sinundayan, right? It's a good project in Urmok. So if you guys have extra, you guys could contact Miggy, and for sure you're gonna be helping a lot of those furry friends. Okay, so let's go and start with the topic on hand. Okay, so right now we're gonna first talk about let's talk about the five players, right? Top collegiate player stars whose career did not pan out in the PBA. Okay, so we're gonna talk about those. They were given the chance to play in the PBA, but somehow their career just didn't work out one way or the other. Okay, or one reason or the other. So I'm gonna start with Miggy on this. Okay, I'm gonna share Miggy's list of his like five collegiate stars. Okay, so here we go. All right. So
Guys, real quick. Did I say flooding in Ormoc earlier? Man,
yes,
that's
flooding in
the
Cebu.
things
They
we
did.
drive.
That's why I'm
Sorry.
confused. Like,
Guys,
huh?
flooding in Cebu. I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay. My my list real quick. So um yeah, these are college stars who didn't quite pan out. I mean, some of them played, some of them are still playing. They got drafted, but it seems like their college careers went way better than how their professional careers went, diba? Or some of
Mhm.
them that had like really big potential and they didn't seem to meet that potential. So let me start with Joseph Yo. Yeah, man. I mean, if you remember,
Joseph Yo. Wow.
if you were
Yo,
a college basketball fan in the in the mid 2000s, if you were looking for a scorer, Joseph Yo was your guy. I mean, you remember him? There's just this one Joseph Yo play, and he was playing against. Of course, he was with LaSalle. He was playing against Ateneo, and it was a fast break.
Obviously.
And Joseph was not a, Joseph Yo was not a tall guy, huh? And he went for a
Yeah, it's
dunk,
like six
man.
one.
He dunked that shit, man. But the
yeah.
thing with Joseph Yo was he was a two guard, so he was a scorer, and he lit everyone up. He was a straight up killer in college. But then when he got to the pros, we kind of realized that hey, he's kind of small to play the two. Like he should play the point. And hey, man, he tried to play the point, but it wasn't that successful. We saw him. He had his moments, diba, in the PBA. He had his moments
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Magnolia, with
Mm,
Petron.
yeah.
I think he played for Ginebra. Did he play for Ginebra for a while?
And with these journeymen in the PBA, you never know.
Um,
Actually.
di ba? But his PBA career did not go as well as his like UAAP career, man. He,
He peaked way too early, if you know
he
what I
went
mean.
way,
Like way
yeah,
too
that's
early.
right. He went way too early. But he was a scorer. Na I wish he took like the TJ Sim 1 route where he's like you come up from the bench and you just score a bunch of points and then you don't play defense. But then I think he got exposed too much in the PBA na like the bigger guards would pick on him and then just bring him to the post and he just got killed on defense, man. He was just too small. I don't think he's even 6'1", Jeff.
Who?
He's like
Joseph.
Joseph Yo. I
Could
don't
be
think
shorter. Joseph Yo. Wasn't he
Also,
like the ninja something? The ninja
Yeah, he's a
assassin? I forgot. He
ninja.
had a cool
The ninja.
nickname. The
The
ninja,
ninja.
yeah. And just
Diba,
like a
diba,
ninja, that's what happened to his career. Poof!
partner si
Gone!
TY.
Yeah.
TY Tang.
oh, yeah,
White Tang.
Joseph
Ah,
Yo
White
had
Tang,
to-
yeah.
Hey man, hey, just a short list of my honorable mentions. Because Mark, I know Mark has a interesting honorable mention. Okay, honorable mentions. If you know these guys, Art de la Cruz from San
I
Beda.
know
He
Art
was
de la
really good.
Cruz. Art de la
But
Cruz, yeah, yeah.
I'm giving him a chance though, because he's recovering from an ACL.
yeah, he's still
Right.
I
he's
even
Art de la Cruz.
he's with Ginebra now. So I mean, I hope he
Yeah,
might
yeah.
work in Ginebra. I legit thought he would be like, this is a future PBA MVP. I said that, like future
Randy
PBA
Del. He plays like
MVP.
Randy Del de Ocampo, man.
Yeah,
He
he's a
reminds me
six
so much of
four
Randy Del.
who 6'4"
Lefty,
who
right?
can play
Art de
the
la Cruz.
point. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Art de la Cruz, yeah,
San
yeah.
Beda.
I know Art, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tate Teodoro from JRU,
Tate
Jose
Teodoro.
Rizal,
Tate Teodoro. Yeah, yeah.
super
Boy can play.
scorer in the NCAA.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
when he
yeah.
got to the
Tate
PBA, it's
Teodoro.
same thing. Same thing. He was too small to play the two, and he couldn't play the one. It's like a combo guard who was more of a scorer. Couldn't do anything else.
Mhm.
Mac Barakael, an honorable mention from FEU. Remember that FEU class with Kawaling, with
J.R.
Baroka?
Kawaling, Baroka.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Mac Barakael.
Barakel. I don't know. I don't know about Barakel,
I
man.
mean,
I mean,
he had his moments. He had
he
his
had his
moments.
moments, but
He actually played well for Alaska, and then they traded him. How about
I don't
Jojo
know what. Yeah.
Duncil? How about Jojo
Jojo
Duncil?
Dunstil is more remembered for his
We're
physique
gonna
and his
end two
physicality than
hours.
his play. I mean,
I thought
makes
he would really
answer
make
this
it
question
to
for me. Hold
the
on. Yeah, makes answer this question for me. If you saw Jojo Dunstil at the end of the road with lights not flashing, would you go the other way or would you actually walk the same path?
No, I put that car
I'm
in
telling
reverse
you.
and
I know you. No, you're just walking.
I'd
You
go
run the
back
other
where I
way.
came
I mean,
from.
there are just some
Jojo
players who are more
Duncil was
known for that
tough.
way. Yeah, yeah. Tough guy, tough guy. Jojo
He's
Dunstil.
killing it in the NPBL though.
Yes,
And
sir.
Oh yeah,
last,
for sure.
but definitely not the least, because he had his moments with Barako. Leo Nahorda. He was like this undersized forward who played the post.
It looks like
Rest of all,
Kalinabong. I don't know how Kalinabong's still in the PBA, by the way. That's
I
crazy
have,
to me.
hey guys, I have like 15 names of
Pero,
guys I wished made it.
pero, I mean, for me lang my description of those collegiate stars that didn't pan out. If they were not able to play in the PBA for at least like probably 2 years or let's say 3 years, mga inana. Or if they had a long career pero they're just there because they're big or something,
Yeah,
okay? Kay para sa
exactly.
kuha, for me lang, Joseph Yu, for me, had a decent PBA career. I mean, he had like more than 10 years of PBA play in his belt, and apparently kanang he won championships and he
Well,
became like number two or number three. Mga yan, his
okay, yeah, for me, Mark, like, yeah, I mean, I get what you're coming from. I mean, he had a career,
hmm,
a solid, otherwise
It just wasn't
solid
as
career.
good as the
Yeah,
one, yeah.
expectations were na Joseph Yo would be like this top flight scorer. I think he would be. I think everyone saw Joseph Yo as
Samboy Lim.
like Matthew Wright is now, only smaller. Na he
Kind
could
of,
score
yeah.
outside, di ba?
I have a question for you. If
Yeah, okay.
Joseph came from the States, would he have a career like Matthew Wright? Because for me lang, Joseph Yu has a better like all around game compared to Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright is just a pure scorer. He shoot threes. That's basically it. Joseph Yu has an inside outside game and he's tough, man. He's a dog.
He was tough, but mulagi ba? I mean, these are guys whose careers didn't pan out. I saw that as guys who had potential but didn't really meet that potential. Because, di ba, I mean, Joseph Yu was like a sixth man at best. Now he was best when you when he
I
came off
think,
the bench. And then
I
I mean, he
think
was
during
yeah,
the later years of his career, he was a six man. Pero murag, I think the first 5 years of his career, he was like a starter. He was like
yeah. But the problem the
The
problem with him when he was a starter, especially with Magnolia, because that's what ngara man gyud ni dako iyang career, di ba? Magnolia, and then Hinebra for a while. Yeah,
yeah.
was that
how
if you put him with the starters, because
so
he
far.
was, it would mean that your one and two, your backcourt would be really small,
True,
and
true.
then they just get beat
It's like
on
a Kyle
defense.
Lowry to a Fred Van Vliet kind of deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but hey, that's why I have him number five.
Okay,
That's why I
okay.
have him number five because he actually has decent career. I just thought he would be better. He's like okay, the equivalent for Josephio right now would be like Nico Salva. Well, really good in college, but role player karon, di ba?
Nico
And then
Pero,
Salva,
I just
man.
okay,
pero, Nick,
before I move on, yeah. See.
do you think it's unfair for him, for Joseph Yo to be in Nico Salva? Because para sa kuha lang ha, when you go to college, Manggod, it's really more of, there's just like a few teams. There's like a few there's like, mura ganig per batch, good mo. And then I think the
Yeah.
PB, I think the college leagues has more teams if you combine them, NCAA, UAAP, and the other leagues like Sisafi perhaps, and nasa good quality. Because when everybody's dream is to become a pro, so once they go up the next level, murag diha na magud mag-abot tanan, like the veterans, the
Yeah.
middle guys, and then the rookies. Murag mo na siya. Murag it's really hard to really for me lang sa akong list. It was really hard for me to really distinguish kinsa gid sa ilaha kay murag laom gid kayo. I mean, kung sa ko lang
Yeah.
ha, I didn't have Joseph on my list because how he played in college is basically how he played in the PBA. Except that dili lang gyud siya star because of course tabunan gud siya sa mga karaan ng mga stars. Ngayon. Pero yeah, he could have
Yeah.
had a better
I
career
mean,
though.
that's why I have it number five because he's like in the middle for me. Na in college, mula gito in college, he was like I mean in college, dagan kita comparison no. He was the Aljon Milesio before Aljon Milesio was there.
Mm-hmm.
Di ba? Aljon Milesio in LaSalle right now.
Yeah.
Again, a two guard who is undersized but could score. It's like Aljon Milesio. And then ako lang punggod niya. And then when he got to the PBA, he didn't grow from being a scoring two guard. Di ba? I mean, he could have been like mula gito a combo guard who could make plays, set his guys up. But then, hey, I was still a fan of Joseph Yu. Sometimes makaingon lang ko nga he could be so much better. But hey, saan to man? I hope he makes it back to the PBA though. Di ba? Okay, so my next guy is JC Intal.
The baby
Okay.
rocket.
Again, still in the PBA right now. He actually played, I think, last night. But
Phoenix.
yeah, but wasn't I mean I think you'd agree with me on this. Wasn't his career in the UAP so much better than his career in the PBA right now? I mean, I thought na JC Intal had the complete package. He had the size, he had the skill, and he was really athletic. But then when he got to the PBA, it's like he's there for some games and then some games he isn't, and he never really developed a consistent enough jump shot to be a real threat. I was even surprised a couple of years ago na All Stars, yeah, like really, because I thought na at best he was like a role player na you could plug in to defend your import. So, but I still like JC Intal because yeah, he was the baby rocket of Ateneo. He was the complete deal. But he's still there. There's still time left. So go for
And
it, JC.
you know what disappoints me the most about JC and Tal? And I really
Yeah.
need to say this because I was a big and I grew up in Sacred Heart. So, we're more or less really well connected with the Loyola group in Manila and especially Ateneo de Manila. And
All you,
this
all
was
you
JC
boys.
and Tal, whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mix. JC and Tal played together with LA Tenorio, right? Him, Doug Kramer, and the like. Hey, JC Tal was this guy whom, in my mind, was supposed to come into the league and give it a lot more entertainment value. And I thought that
Mhm.
was such an advantage for him going into the league because in the PBA, a dunk was like similar to what the WNBA would experience. If someone dunked, it was the coolest thing in the world to see someone do that, and not at the center height. Talking about a guy who was like what 6'4", no 6'3", 6'4" in height, and then going down the fast break, dunking it. I thought that was something JC Intel would have brought to the PBA and do it at a high level. But sometimes these things just don't pan out the way you expect them to. It sucks. I mean, I
True.
would have really loved to see the baby rocket turn into the actual rocket. Not just a baby rocket, the rocket. Sheesh.
Yeah, diba?
JC
Mo lagi ba?
Intel.
He had like the complete package of like size and just enough skill. But ako bangod ba? If you don't develop beyond who you were in college, then what becomes of it? Okay, these were the guys drafted before JC Intal. You had Jody Vance, number one. He went to Wellcoat. You have Samigi Eman. You remember Samigi
I
Eman?
remember Samigi Eman. I know Samigi. Yeah. Samigi Eman.
He was so big. And then
That's
he
the
couldn't do
guy from
shit.
Davao.
Couldn't do shit. And then you have Ryan Reyes. I love Ryan Reyes.
Yeah,
Right,
he's
And
still
you
there.
have
right.
those,
Is
yeah. Yeah. One
he's
of
in
the
the league
most
for a reason. He's
underrated
in the league
guys,
for a
diba?
reason.
Ryan Reyes. One of the most underrated
One
guys
of
there.
those.
And you
He
have
played for the
JC
national
Intal,
team.
number four. Yeah, he did. JC Intal, number four. And you have Doug Kramer, number five. You have your favorite Ken Bono, number six. You have JR Kinyahan, number
Uh,
seven.
oh my God, the UV
And then you
product
have
from
you
Mandaue.
have yeah, you have JR Kinyahan, number seven. Number eight. Number eight is my number three guy. Well, I was
Dylan
actually my number
Ababo.
two guy, but I'll just bring him up now. Yusuf Yusuf freaking Al Jamal.
Wow,
Yusuf
you're
freaking Al Jamal.
Yusuf Al Jamal. Yeah.
He was MVP of the NCAA, and he was big and he could shoot from outside and he was really versatile. In 2007, how often did you see big guys? I mean, 6'4" is big in the Philippines, diba? You're considered a big if you're 6'4" in the Philippines.
yes,
How
yes.
often could you see
Yeah.
a 6'4" guy who could rebound and shoot that well from the outside?
True.
And then when he got to the PBA, people realized, oh man, he was really good because Sam Ekwe was there. You remember Sam Ekwe? It was
I
like the
thought it was
first,
the first
one
like
of the
real
first,
import.
yeah, real import who, I mean, he wasn't even that good, but he was just
No, he
really
wasn't.
athletic
He was
and he
tall. He
could just
was
block
big,
shots.
and yeah,
He could
he was
block
like Matumbo
shots.
with the offense. He looked like Bill Russell
Yeah,
out there against us, man. I swear.
Yusuf Al Jamal, man. Yusuf Al Jamal. I had high hopes for him. I was a Beda guy. In the NCAA, I'm a Beda guy. I'm a San Beda guy,
Mm.
and then I had, like, I, I, I was praying, oh, come on, man. Yusuf Al Jamal needs a break. He deserves a break. But he couldn't get on the floor. I don't know. He was, kabantay mo na it's really difficult if you're a tweener in Philippine basketball. Especially when you
That's
were
because
before the yeah, I mean Jeff, before the 3-point shot was a thing, it was really difficult to be a
well,
tweener in the PBA.
yeah, it makes that has a lot to do with the fact that we are like a dinosaur when it comes to basketball. And let me explain this real quick, and I'll explain this in my segment later too. We are so far behind because number one, we're really
So
short. Number two, and Rush, you lived in a time where
Jeff,
basketball was
Jeff,
still
before
viewed
that,
in a small TV box in black and white.
Jeff, like, you're going right now, but I was just because you said dinosaur in basketball,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we got beat by freaking Mongolia in the 3x3 in FIBA. Freaking Mongolia, guys.
Hey
Ah,
man, yeah, bro,
Mongolia.
Yo, let me. Here's the thing. I mean, because we're so behind, and here's why I say we're so behind. Apart from the fact that we're really tiny, and we always refuse to accept the fact that we're small and tiny. I mean, for the love of God, a 6'3", 6'4" guy in the local scene is already a
Straight
power
up
forward.
center.
In other countries, it's not. It's like you're a guard. You're too tiny. Number two, it's because we try to adapt to a new system, but we're so stuck with the old one because we haven't even mastered the old one. And what I mean by that brush is we stick to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. Prototypical. Everyone's a prototypical of whatever position you're playing for. And that's very frustrating. Every time we go to the national scene, people who are in other countries like China, especially in European countries like Serbia, Spain, the height of these guys, the talent of these guys, they're playing our power forwards and our small forwards. They are their guards and they have those same skills. We
True.
refuse to really look at our players and develop them to a point where we have to accept the number one thing. We have a lot of great guards. We do. It's just that they're too small. And
True.
Miggy made mention of this very quick line he told me, and it's very applicable to us. And I'm not saying our guys don't play well, but I'm tired of the whole puso narrative. Like, let's get. I mean, I could go off on a whole show about that, dude. It's so pathetic. I swear, enough of this puso narrative. I swear to God. But he said one thing that made it that's very resounding, and I'll end it with this: a lineup of five big, really talented guys will always beat a lineup of five small, talented guys in basketball.
Do you mean me? Do you
Period.
mean me? We talked
Yeah, I
about the
remember you
puso
told me
thing.
that. Nick. I think you're,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Migs, I mean, we have like a whole chat about that. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish your list because that'll be a whole
Okay.
other show in itself. But go ahead and
True.
finish it. But that's the one thing I hate, like, dude. Enough. To everybody watching Filipino basketball, enough of this pathetic, this stupid, this I don't know what this demoralizing puso narrative. Enough, and I will explain why that's enough sooner or later.
Yeah, soon, man, soon. Because I think we should get like we should have like an episode for our Gilas team because I think they have a game on November,
I have
right?
a lot of frustrations on that like
Oh my god, I don't
disclaimer
don't even get me
lang,
started, man.
there will be a lot of expletives for that
I
episode.
mean,
A lot of
it's so
leaks
frustrating.
for that
It's so
We're,
episode.
we're,
frustrating.
we're gonna discuss that soon. Okay, so let's take to what we have right now.
I was a
Next.
fan of the national team before it was Gilas. Okay, so yeah, so
Okay.
Yusuf Al Jamal, man, Yusuf Al Jamal, jeez, you were 6'4". I mean, you still are 6'4", and you could shoot, and you couldn't defend. Jesus Christ, you couldn't defend. Come on. How many 6'4" guys are there? Okay. So
Not a lot. Not a lot.
before I take a deep dive on this, let's go to my number two guy is Amon Vosotros.
How do you have
I
Alvin
love
Bosotro so high up on your list?
it's number two because
He's still playing though.
yeah, mo
Ah,
lagi, di ba?
Bosotros, yeah.
But okay, we have to remember that he was out of the PBA for a stretch. He played in the MPBL. I think he played for Muntinlupa, if I'm not mistaken. Ha? Basta he played in the MPBL because he was out of the PBA. And the same thing happened to him that happened to Joseph Yo. And my electric fan is acting up. I don't know why. Okay, so the same thing happened to Vosotros that happened to Joseph Yo. He was a two guard in college. But then when he got to the PBA, people realized na, hey, it's actually really small. It's actually really small to be a two. And then you could just see na he wasn't at that time, at that time when he got drafted, he wasn't really comfortable playing the one. So he was out of the PBA, he went to the MPBL, and brothers, when he got to the MPBL, he was a straight up killer. He was killing everybody. Because Amon Vosotros with that, and then his shot was like way behind his head. Because I
Pinabomba.
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah, I think because he's shorter and he was so used to playing against big
So
guys,
tiny.
he had to shoot it.
Yeah.
He had to shoot it from behind his
From
head.
behind.
He was really good with those Lasal teams. Siya o si Thomas Torres, man.
Oh
Thomas
yeah.
Torres and
Defensively,
Vosotros.
defensively, very very
And then
active.
Now but hey, I still have hopes for him in the PBA because he's with TNT right now. I think I saw him play last night. He's with TNT right now. So Amon, you know, do your best there. I'm rooting for you, man. Okay, so my number one, and I think this is no surprise because we had this. I think all three of us have this guy on our list, diba? Mark, do you
For
have him on your
sure.
list?
No, no, no. I don't
I
have
have him
Dylan about.
on.
You took him out, diba? Because
Yeah.
you saw us. Okay, huh? Dylan freaking Ababu, man. Dylan Ababu.
Former MVP. Ah, what a
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
from grace.
Yeah,
USC.
MVP in the UAAP too. Diba? I mean, if you're MVP in the UAAP, you must just mean you're really good. Huh?
Yeah.
But
Sheesh.
personally, for me, ha, I enjoy the NCAA more, but hey, UAP, more glamorous league. And just a quick
Hello.
note to our subscribers, we have a lot of UST guys coming up. Okay, so Dylan Abapo,
Oh, for sure.
MVP in the UAP, he had everything. He could handle the ball. He could shoot. He could
He
make
could drive.
plays. He could drive, and he was big for his position. But then
Exactly.
he hurt his back, and then he hurt his knee, and then he just couldn't get on the floor.
True.
It's a depressing story when you talk about Dylan Ababu because
Kind of
ako
reminds me of
ha,
Hardaway.
yeah, kasi ako magtanaw ko niya sa UAP. I'm saying UAP here because I hardly saw him in the PBA. Tanaw ko niya sa UAP, and he seemed like a good guy too. Like he seemed pretty nice. And you interviewed him, he was like really humble and really meek. But then the injury bug came biting. He
Amen.
couldn't crack a rotation. I mean, Dylan Ababo is one of those cautionary tales na college players when before they get to the PBA, if college players, if you think you have a chance at getting drafted by the PBA, invest in your health. I mean, like, make sure you're fit. Make sure na you consult whoever the doctors you have, whatever doctors you have. Just make sure that you don't have a bum back or a bum knee, because you don't want to blow out your knee in your first season in the PBA. Diba? I mean, man, it's depressing to talk about Dylan Ababu because those UST teams were really good.
Oh
They
yeah,
had
man. They
Kasim
had
Mirza.
really good.
You
Kasim
remember Kasim
Mirza,
Mirza?
Jerick Fortuna. Jerick
Yeah, Jerry
Fortuna. You remember
Verta.
Jerick Fortuna? Yeah, they had a really good team there in UST. They had some great
Yes.
times there, man. I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
I think
Sheesh.
Dylan Ababu was with Jervy Cruz, ba? Yung
Yeah,
champion
Jerry,
niya.
yeah.
He was part of that team, right?
Whew. Yeah,
See?
him and Jervy, man.
Dylan Ababu.
Sayang ba? Sayang. I almost had Jervy on this list, but then I saw your guys' list, so ako lang siya gitangtang. But Dylan Ababu, man, I mean, he was like the complete package. I always honestly thinking na if this guy gets to the PBA, who can stop him, di ba? If he put a big guy on him, he'd just drive past the guy.
True.
Put a small man on him, he'd bring that guy to the post. He was that good. That's why it hurts na he never like put it together. Health, I mean, it was unlucky. I mean, shit happens. But
True.
then, sayang ba? Sayang. So
Yep.
guys, Dylan Ababo, to our young listeners out there, Joshua, if you're listening to me, research Dylan Ababo. And if there's anything I want you to take away from him, like research how he got hurt and don't do the things that he did to get hurt.
All right. Okay. Joshua is like your cousin nga naa sa kuan sa?
Yeah.
Cebu, Cebu.
Espina. Espina. Yeah.
Classmate ko anak mo na siya.
Yeah.
That guy, your cousin is tall, man. He's tall.
Yeah.
Ako yatong pick upon po niya sa kong team.
See,
So,
listeners, kinsa ray na anak na mo diri.
ako.
This guy. This guy.
Actually, I already have like a 9-year-old na manwaay na sad. So, si Wesley. So, he's like 5'8", 5'9".
Hey man,
So
let's play with us.
yeah,
Diba?
yeah, he was. All right. So karon, we've heard Miggy's list. So we're gonna proceed with Jaff top five players whose career didn't pan out in the PBA. So oh man, let me just share this. Just give me a few more.
Oh man.
Okay, so here's
Woo!
your list.
A lot of big men on your list, Jeff.
Yep. So take the
Oh
floor,
my
man.
god. All right. Look. Look, there's there have you ever when you're on Mount Olympus, when you've achieved something at such a good level, and then to me it's one of the most tragic things to happen when there's no elevator to come back down. The whole thing just collapses, and you're down in the rubble, and you're looking up at the stars, asking the Lord, why? Why did this befall unto me? That is exactly what happened to the five that you see here. I don't. There's something similar. Huh? I actually asked Miggy to take out Jarek Tang because I was gonna plug in someone different. But let me go ahead and go through this list with you. Sorry, who's this Rain or Shine guy, Migs? Who is this?
Jersey. That's
Trying to
Jersey.
remember. Oh,
That
Jersey.
was your
I can't even recognize him. Apart from Jarek Tang, here's one thing that's similar with the rest of my list, huh? To
that
all the
proves our
listeners,
credibility,
I'll give you
Jeff,
the
that you
list.
can't even recognize
I'll
your
give you the
player.
list. I mean, yeah, no, I mean, sheesh. I'll give you the list to everybody who's listening. I have Jarek Tang, Dylan Ababu, Jerby Cruz, Raba Aluseni, and Ken Bono. I'm not even sure, but the
Depressing
four out of
list.
the five
That's a depressing
are
list,
all.
Jeff.
Such a sad list. Four out of the five were former most valuable players. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Four out of
True.
the five were former most valuable players. Ken Bono, Jerby Cruz, Rabah Husseini, Dylan Ababu. I'm not sure about Jarek Tang if he won MVP. I don't think so. But
Nope.
let's start with Jarek Tang. He didn't win. That's fine. Jarek Tang was one of the most explosive two guards in the UAAP. Here's a guy who averaged about 14 points and 6 boards when he was with the Growling Tigers. Ghosted was always what you'd hear in the stadiums when
Don't
Jarek
you
Tang
MVP,
played because
right?
he was always he did the pistols. See, when you do the pistols in a UAP game and you're backing up and then you make a shot, you
You're
must
talking
be a
about
somebody, right? You must have some kind of swag. You must be some kind of scorer. And Jarek Tang in college did that. But where did all your bullets go when you touched the PBA? Did you run out of did you run out of mags? Did they start banning guns? What happened, Jarek Tang? I mean, so much high hopes for a guy whom yeah, Migs. You don't have to raise your hand. You know, you just go right in, right?
I
This
don't
is
know.
not class.
I mean, I feel for Jerick Teng because Jerick Teng and Jeron Teng is like what happened to me and my brother Paulo. It's like, di ba,
Oh, is that right? Uh,
you're the older brother and you think, I'm so much better than this guy. When we play one
yeah,
on one, I'm always killing him. I'm
yeah,
always
yeah,
dominating. And then Paulo just hits that growth spurt and then he trains really
yeah,
hard and then he's good coach here in Ormoc. And then I come back one summer from college and he was like, I know, Jeff, he was like
yeah,
straight
yeah.
up dunking on me. He's like dunking on me like,
Oh yeah,
Jesus
I know, I
Christ.
remember. We played a game with Paulo. I remember. Mark, if you don't know Paulo, Paulo's one of these guys who went to Cebu Doctors University. He was super athletic, actually. I was surprised. He had like the
Really
good
good.
foundation. You know, he can dunk or he can fly because he has a really good foundation. But yeah, I mean,
He could
alluding to your
shoot
point, makes
too.
Jarek Tang. Yeah, Jarek Tang. Going back to
Not a
Jarek Tang
good
is,
day for older brothers when we talk about Jerick Teng.
ah man. But hey, credits to Jarek Tang. Huh? Again,
I mean, I
go
was
ahead.
just about to say something about Jarek Tang because I saw him in person. I saw him play in person. I think he was already
Mm.
playing. I forgot the name of the team he was playing in
Trainer side?
MPBL.
Oh, in PBL, okay.
Yeah. Pero they played the game before the Cebu Sharks. So, sayo ko niya to. So, I watched, they were still like warming up and such. Parang, I was in the VIP section. So, I tried approaching him, asking him for like a photo. Ayan.
VIP?
Yeah,
But he doesn't do that. He doesn't like he doesn't like let the fans approach him or something. I don't know why. Pero the bottom line was that I was trash talking him. I'll try to look for like the because I know YouTube has like the full length kanang plays of like the MPBL. MP Bell posted on Facebook or on YouTube rather.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
try to look.
yeah.
Honestly speaking, after Gudato, I was trash talking him from start to finish. As a matter of fact, mura na siya ni duol na gyud sa mua. He wanted to like I don't know if it wasn't televised or something. He could have like kanang smacked me na Gudato because kanang there was a time when he had ni lay up siya. He fell sa motobangan. Ana I was like pointing him. I stood up from my chair. I was situated underneath the goal or the ring. So when he fell in front of me, I was like standing up, pointing him how bullshit he is.
All because he didn't want to take a picture with you guys.
Yeah, man.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's brutal.
I mean, let's say this right
That's
now. Let's
so
say
so
this right
brutal.
now. Was Derek Ting an asshole? Was he an
Yeah.
asshole?
Yes. Really.
Hey,
Because it's not only Sako alam. I mean, it's like kanang barangay. If you're a PBA player or even reach that level, na you're being paid to play the game that everybody loves. I
be
mean, you
nice
should
to the fans, di ba?
at least those fans are the
You
ones
owe it to
like
the
kanang
fans.
exactly. Barangay. There are two guys who I hate who doesn't do that. First is sa local lang Jeric Teng. Ang number two, sad to say, player sa Alab, si kinsa nang import gani nga nanook ni Erwin Santos, si
Okay,
um
okay, okay. Si,
Ronaldo Blanco.
ano,
Bachman.
Batman, yeah.
Bachman.
Those are the
Bachman
two
is
guys
right, Bachman.
I really hate. Yun. I saw them play in person. They
He's
yun.
not good with the fans, Bert.
I'm sorry?
He's not. I thought he was good with the fans. Si
Bachman,
Batman.
no. Dili.
Really?
Apparently not.
If
Apparently
the
not.
camera, if the camera is rolling, if he knows the camera is like kanang murag the I don't know if you guys notice it, pero kanang barato ra man gud ang VIP section from PBL o sa Alab. Alab, you could
Mm.
already go to yeah, you
Ato
could
for
sit
you.
yeah.
That's,
It's
that's
even
the
it's 800 pesos sa Alab. Oh, no,
Oh, really?
sorry. 1,500 ay sa Alab, 1,500. Sa MPBL, it's like 800 to 1,000. Depende as ang venue. So, of course, naka sa VIP, you're expecting, maski gani si Manny Pacquiao signed the gloves for me, mga yana. Damn, Jeric Teng didn't blink an eye. He was just like standing there. Hey, bro, could we take a picture with my son, man? He did. He brushed us off. Mura ganigwa siya nadungog or anything, bro. Damn him, man. Pero wala siya. Pero the people manggod kanang morgig the media, they tell the players kung kanusta sila mag-live. So once there are guys na maski way camera, they're good to the fans. Pero once there's camera on, kana Bachman would like kanang murag if their PR people don't tell him nga part siya sa murag kanang murag palami sa Alab or something nga na siya jersey ihata nga then dili siya mutagad yun. There are players nga inana. And unfortunately, Bachman is one of them. Then there was this other guy put sa Alab nga kanang murag foreigner sad tong Russian or Phil German na to nga player. I forgot
I'm not really familiar with the Alab guys.
Chongson.
Wang Chongson?
Wami?
Wami Chongson?
Wami
No.
Chongson?
One Ateneo. Chongson ay apelido. Forgot he's good. But he also played for Alab. Big man. I think he's like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, well,
He's
he's
not nice.
German, so.
Ah,
He's not nice.
Caleb Chongson. I remember his name. Yeah.
Caleb Johnson. I don't know this guy, but okay.
And pinaka top days akong list, local. Si Kuan, Ray Park. Ray Parks.
Oh, Ray Park's a douche.
Yeah. He does it, man. Maski ka nang
Man, you better pray, Mark.
introduction from the dugout. You put your hand para maka-appear lang kanila. He does it, man. He doesn't
He
do
was
that.
really into the game, Mark. He was like, he's really focused.
Even before the game, even kanang their game starts at 7. I was already there at 4:30, so that I could see them like shooting around. I could ask them to sign the ball or jersey. They don't, man. They really just don't.
Hey, just a quick note to our subscribers. Subscribers, don't be an asshole to Mark. Because he's calling you out on the live show.
Apparently, he'll hate you, and he'll hate you. He'll put you on a live show and throw all this shade.
I can imagine if si Richie Rivero did what he did na naamoto. You remember what he did, di ba, Richie Rivero?
Yeah, katong that film.
Yeah.
Pero ito siya, Mark, I think kasabot ra ko ato. It's because it was after a tough loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pero
That
for the
happens
game,
a lot.
Richie Rivero is okay. I saw him said during that game sa Alab because Prince was playing. So he traveled with Prince. So he was there. So he was okay. He was okay with the fans. Pero kaya siya. So go ahead, Jack. Sorry kayo.
Jerry
Pero
Wonder.
makita
I
din
did
ako.
not know that.
Ah, all
Hey,
right, hold
good
on.
point, Mark.
Word,
Good point.
word to the wise. Number one, if you're a basketball player and you see the small Gasol-like body sitting next to you in the VIP section, make sure to reach out to him
Oh,
instead
yeah.
and get a photo with him. 'Cause wallet with a nice hat, make sure to reach out to him, man. He gonna throw
Dili kay.
shade on you on this
Kasi
show. But anyway,
dili bitaw para sa ko amang good. I pay good hard-earned money.
yeah,
Be there at the
yeah,
venue early because I want to like kanang somehow get the feel of the how it
yeah. You want to
is.
get no? Yeah, yeah. I get you. I get you. Yeah,
And then I collect sports memorabilia. So na ako'y isa ka ball that
yeah,
is
yeah.
signed by the whole team except for Bobby Ray Parks and Ronaldo Balkman. So that's where I come from.
Yeah, that's that. No, and then
Oh,
the
okay. So that's
difference
what I got
between
you.
having Bobby Ray Parks and Balkman signature, between having their signatures and not having them, is like a thousands of
Night and day.
pesos.
Like night, like so big, so big, so big. But yeah,
True, true.
let me let me just burn through my list real quick because the next three, the top three are just eerily similar, and it's not even funny how similar these guys' careers were. But Dylan Ababu, let me go through this. Dylan Ababu is my number four guy. Here's a guy who averaged 19 points, 7 boards, 40% from the field, was a
Was
UAAP
fast food.
MVP, and Miggy summed him up perfectly. He was like, you kind of want to think like one of the most versatile forwards, not really in the PBA, but a guy whom I can probably compare him to was like he's like a Paul George kind of deal. He can go inside out, but he didn't play that good a defense. I'm talking about his offensive skills because Dylan Ababu in USD was not known for his defense; he was known for his offense. But here's a guy who goes 19 points, 7 boards, 40% from the field, was a great inside out scorer, had all the tools that you could possibly imagine. He even played a short stint there for Gilas, but Miggy touched on it really well. The injury bug hit him so hard, it was actually more of a virus that he could never shake because it plagued him all throughout his career. And next thing you know, when people talk Dylan Ababu, it's a cautionary tale of how you should manage your injuries and manage your body and manage your style of play. Because if the injury bug hits you and you don't know what you're doing with your body, you could end up like this guy who had such amazing promise, Brush. I tell you, when you watch Dylan Ababu highlights, you look at this guy and you keep saying, "Where? What the hell happened?" Right now, an even bigger "what the hell happened" would be the next three on this list because they are MVPs. Their numbers were staggering in college, Brush. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But all three have the similar characteristics. Let me go through the numbers with you real quick. Rabba Al Husseini in Ateneo won back to back championships. 24 points, 13 boards a game. Ken Bono, 21 points with Adamson. I'm not sure if he won a title, but 21 points, 11 rebounds a game. And Jarek Tang, no, sorry, Jerby Cruz. Jerby Cruz, 17 points, 15 rebounds a game.
Rookie MVP.
What went wrong? Rookie MVP. What went wrong was that this is something I learned, Brush, when I talked to a Panalay. I'm not gonna mention his name on it. I talked to one of these Panalay players from Lapu-Lapu. When he was in college, he was a slasher. Big guy, slasher, had a good mid-range game, could make a couple of layups here and there, was a good playmaker overall. But when he switched to the Panalay scene, he told me na, murag kailangan jud ka makaibaw na number one mo itsa. Digid pwede ka mo itsa. Kaya a lot of times you'll experience is if you keep going into the hole, mas takog chance ma-injury ka, mas mabunog imong lawas, you need
True.
to shift your game. Here's the problem with all these three. It's very similar. It's not even funny. They're undersized as a big. When they tried to shift
True.
in the PBA, they're undersized as a big, so they don't have the height. In college, they had the height. Number two, they had the muscle in college. They were basically, again, grown men playing against little tiny kindergarten boys, or at least the
Exactly.
size of that. Okay? Ken Bono, Rabal Husseini, Jerry Cruz, they were just taking the ball down low on the block, bodying up, bang, bang, turn around, hook shot, low post, spin move, fade away, jump shot, you name it. These guys look like these NBA style players where they had the total package down low on the block. But when you get to a certain level, Jude, and I remember this clearly from what that guy told me, you have to develop a different kind of game. Not that you don't lose what you were good at in college, but you take that and get it to another level. So you develop your shooting, you develop your speed, you commit yourself to the game where you're still a cut above and beyond everybody else. These three guys didn't do that. I don't. Here's how big a fall from grace this was. We're talking about Mount Pinatubo, brush, Mount Pinatubo to Colon. It's that bad. It's
It's really
that
harsh.
bad.
Really
No,
harsh.
I'm not gonna. Migs, listen. None of these guys on my top three list averaged more than 6 points in the PBA, with the exception of Rabal Husseini, who had a good rookie campaign. He had 14 points. I thought not even more than 6 points. They couldn't even crack any more lineups, with the exception of Jerby Cruz, who I still think plays in the PBA. But what is Jerby Cruz compared to what he was in college now, or what he was in college? Not even close.
Yeah.
16 points, 15 boards. And you go to the PBA, you play against grown men. You know the old saying, brush and Megina, pick on somebody your own size. And boy, did the PBA look at Jervy Cruz, Ken Bon, and Rabal Husseini and say, yeah, we are your own size. Let's see if you can keep picking on us. Their games couldn't with it, Ken Bono, by the way, he could shoot from the outside. People forget this guy could shoot from the outside. But the biggest
Good,
one,
man.
my number one here, by the way, to all the people who are listening, is Ken Bono. Because here's a guy to me, who didn't really commit. He didn't really commit to the game as much as we would have expected him to, being an MVP coming out of Adamson, because he didn't manage his weight. He didn't really evolve his game. He didn't develop any kind of speed to keep up with the players who were coming in and out. One thing that we all need to remember, that basketball is an ever-evolving game. It's an ever-evolving game. People get faster. People get better at shooting. People get bigger, stronger. Look at the NBA. Brush. If you look at the NBA now, you can form a 5-man group, and you go back to Space Jam. These are the monsters. These are the monsters. What the? Seriously? I'm not kidding. They're all 7 foot tall. They can all dribble. They can all dunk. They can all, run the floor. So this is my biggest knock lang yun on the top three guys that I have: Jerby Cruz, Rabal Husseini, and number one Ken Bono. Such a meteoric fall from grace. They came from Mount Pinatubo down to the dirty, slummy streets of Colon. I don't even know if you're a guy who sponsors Panalay teams, would you even pick them up? I'm not sure if you would. And I'm not sure if you would even say, are they worth my money? So that's my list. I mean, I'm just really like hurt. When I saw these guys play in college, they were, bro, I'm a bigger college fan than I am a PBA fan. So I kind of semi-follow these guys. Especially, I had the chance to watch Rabal Husseini and Jerby Cruz, Derek Tang, and a little bit of Dylan Ababu. Ken Bono, I'm not sure. I didn't really see a lot of highlights from him. But those four
He
guys,
got
man.
drafted last but then I think he's a coach now, Ken Bono.
Ken
He's an
Bono?
assistant
No,
coach now.
no.
I mean, he might
he's-
as well do something.
No, Ken
Maybe
Bono
he's
still
on the
on the
bench.
team right now. He's still an active player. He is a reserve
Really?
for yeah, he is. Meralco. He's a reserve for Meralco.
Oh my God.
That's-
Hey, Ken Bono, man. Take care of yourself. Number one. Hey, man. Look, I'm throwing shade on you because I expected so much more when you came out of the UAAP, bro. On the real, man. Man.
Yeah, but ako
God.
lang ha, real quick ba? The thing for me with Raba, do you remember? I think he was drafted by Air 21.
Yes.
I think so.
Back
Yeah,
to
Air
back.
21.
Back
You
to
remember Air
years.
21 had the number one pick and then the number two pick, and then
Yes.
they opted to draft Noy Baclao before Raba Lucena. Yeah.
And
That's
you
true.
know the reason behind that, Migs?
Yeah, they wanted him to work harder because they wanted him to get motivated because he got drafted number two. But I think that backfired. I think that backfired because it really seemed to me na si Raba did not have enough heart to like really get over that. Because yeah, okay, he had a good rookie season, but then di ba unsa man ang iyang reputation in the PBA? A bit, sorry to say this, a bit lazy. He wasn't committed.
True.
And then he wasn't in shape for most of his career, and then nag-AWOL siya.
Mm.
Nag-AWOL siya for a while, and then it had to take like Norman Black rescuing, quote unquote, rescuing him and getting him to Miralco so that he gets a chance to revive his career. And then what happened? I don't. He's not even in the PBA now.
He went a
And
wall
then-
because he played a league in Europe.
Yeah.
In a
And
very major league.
And then sayang ba because Raba Aluseni had a complete package. I mean, he had a good enough skill set coming into the PBA na everyone thought,
Yeah.
this guy is the next big thing.
Yeah. Wait, Mix, hold on. On that thought, man, like we're talking about like complete package. I'm gonna throw a couple of names your way, and let me know also if you think that their college careers were just the highlight of their lives, and then they just didn't pan out in the PBA. My first name I'm gonna throw out to you, Mac Cardona.
Hmm.
Dude. Hey, in fairness ni Mac, ha, he was really
Mac
good for like
Cardona.
a he was really good for a quick stretch there with Talk and Text. There was a finals with Talk and Text and Alaska, and he was just hitting the. I don't know how he does that, but he's that signature hook shot
That's kind of
floater
hook.
he
I
has.
think it's hook. Captain Hook. Yeah.
Hook shot. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's a
teardrop.
hook. I don't. It's like a cross between a hook and a teardrop.
Yes, it's a
You know,
teardrop hook. I asked him personally about that, what he calls it.
diba? And
It's
then
a
he was really good for like a good stretch, and then he just dropped off, and then he disappeared,
I don't even know what
and
happened. I
then
don't
next,
even know what happened to be
and then
honest.
not-
What the
and
hell?
then next thing you
Magna
know,
Cardona has anxiety issues. He has depression issues, so that's the reason why he fell. That's the reason why his career fell down. He
and
needs to
then
be
Brush,
balanced.
here's my next name.
and then
Huh?
Yeah, Brush, here's
diba,
my
there was
next
the
name.
suicide, attempted suicide. Guys, take care of your mental health. Mac
For
Cardona,
sure.
I still love you, man.
Hey, I'm a big
Yeah,
fan of Mac Cardona, man. But
I
here's my
mean,
next name, Elmer
I have,
Espiritu.
I
Yeah,
have another story
Elmer
regarding
Espiritu,
Magna
man.
Cardona. I had like then again, I watched all the MPBL games here in Cebu, so they were the first games San Juan. So it
San
was
Juan,
him.
right? San Juan.
Yeah, it was
Ano,
him
nice.
and kinsa gani na siyang ilang star player nga puti si na PBA sad siya before. Um
Wait,
his name.
San
Basta
Juan.
yeah,
Hey man, loaded kinang San Juan. They had like
Mike
Rodriguez,
Ayun.
Mike Ayon. They had this guard from Mapua who was really good, gatong left-handed.
Again,
His name.
I totally forgot his name.
Alin Bulanadi? Not
Lagi,
Alin
yeah.
Bulanadi. Yeah,
It's a pala
Bulanadi. Yeah.
mention another player from San Juan murag veteran na si eh,
Rodriguez.
no, yung last name is
Larry?
like he's huh?
His
Mura
last
siya
name was.
feel American. It's not local yung apelido, foreign yung apelido. Si John
Wilson?
ah
John
John
Wilson?
Wilson.
Wilson,
MVP
yeah.
of the
John Wilson.
NCAA.
MVP.
Or-
I was about to say
or-
John Wilson too. Yeah, John Wilson. These guys who, were
That
MVPs from way back
that
when.
weird shot from behind the head and shit, man, and he could make it.
Wait, hold on. Let me throw a name to you guys, and let me know if you know this guy or you don't. But I thought he was one of the most underrated, one of the best players. Whom I just don't know what happened to him. The name I'm gonna say is Jake Pascual from San Sebastian.
Hey, dude,
Bruh,
Follow it.
dude,
the
he was with
Pinatubo
Alaska.
trio. Yeah, the
Sangalang,
Pinatubo trio. Sangalang, Abueva, and
Abueva.
Pascual. All
Yeah.
three guys could dunk. All three guys could dunk. I remember when they played in the PCCL. I forgot where that was, but I remember watching the pregame. They were telling these guys to stop dunking because the ring was almost destroyed.
Jeff,
These three
Jeff,
guys were
like
so good.
my dad was like the PBA was a PB I mean, no, it was a PCCL representative in
Coordinator.
Ormoc. He won an award for that. Just plugging you pa if you're listening, I'm plugging you here. Uh, he was a sports commissioner in Ormoc. He won an award for that best host on that year. And that happened here. They actually had to ask Pascual and Abeba and Sangalang na take it easy on the rims because we don't have any
Yeah, because
replacement rims.
but Jake Pascual, let me tell you about Jake Pascual. So Abueva in San Sebastian was this god of a man, literally a god of a man. He was Russell Westbrook-ish. Triple double almost every game, monster points rebounds ratio, but it would also have like 10, 11 assists. Sangalang was this up and coming center who kind of played a little bit like Ranidel as well. Look, if you remember Art de la Cruz, Sangalang was almost similar to
Yeah.
Art de la Cruz in a way. Had that great lefty hook, had that great lefty jump shot. Jake Pascual was like, where's sa brush? He could shoot, he could dunk. He was your prototypical J.R. Smith kind of guy. He was good enough to be really athletic and dunk, and he was also good enough to shoot it from three. I just don't know what happened to him. Like I'm trying to find information.
No,
Where what
I
happened
got,
to this
yeah,
guy?
I know. Uh, got drafted by Alaska, and then he went
Mhm.
a. I think he went AWOL, and then he left for the states. Now, as far as I know,
Oh,
he worked part time in the states for like a youth basketball league as a referee, and then he ended up coaching part time.
wow,
I think yeah.
wow. I mean, he
So
was really good, man. All right, man,
really good.
but man, he was really good. Jake
All right,
Pascual, I
all right.
swear.
Sige, guys. So before we proceed to my list, though, all right, let me just read some of our viewers' comments. Okay. So Paul Dacalos, who is on in the office right now. Good PM, everyone. So Brother Paul, maing gabi. And then from Roy Danilo, his list is Cortez, Teng, Yo, Mark Isip.
Wow. Do people forget
Yeah,
how
Mark
good
Isip.
the cool
Mark Isip.
cat, the cool cat?
I mean,
Yeah,
Mike Cortez. Yeah, Mike Cortez, man.
Pero
Mike
sa ko
Cortez,
alam,
Robert Sands. I'm not familiar. Huh?
Before he got
Good.
hurt.
PCO,
Before
Yeah.
Mike Cortez got hurt.
yeah, ako alang Mike Cortez was really good sa PBA, except that age and injury really caught him. Pero for me, I won't put him in the list because he was like
He was
he
good.
was
Yeah,
there. He was the upper like kanang murag elite player sa PBA. So I really wouldn't put him there if I were kuan, if I were
But
to say,
yeah,
right? And
you know
then
one
another
thing, bro.
yeah, go ahead.
Real quick on Mike Cortez. We didn't even know who that guy was referring to, but we knew it was Mike Cortez. Like you just said Cortez. We don't even know.
good
It
point.
could be anyone. But
Like
kudos to
Cortez.
Mike Cortez. That's
Hey, man,
that's a testament to how
Mark
popular he was.
Isip. Mark Isip was really good. I remember when FEU won that championship in UAP. Arvin Santos was not the finals MVP.
It was
MVP. It
Mark
was Mark
Isip
Isip. Yeah.
for
Mm.
sure.
All right, all right. So another comment here from Paul. Top five bus, Jarek Teng, Rich Alvarez, BJ Manalo, Adonis Santa Maria, Jerwin.
Adonis Santa Maria.
Oh,
I
Jeff,
remember.
you're in the list, Jeff. You're in the list. You're
I
in the list.
know. Way to put me on, man.
Yeah, you're in the
Jerick
list.
Tang. Paul Brian Acalos, man. We're on the same level with Jerick Tang. BJ Manalo, I'm not sure. Adonis Santa Maria, you can make a case. Jerwin
Yeah.
Garco, I mean, he's still in the league, so
No,
serviceable
no, no.
guy.
Yeah, he is. He is. He is still.
Serviceable,
Pero
but
I think Mike Cortez is still in the league as well. He's with
is he?
yeah, he is. He is. He is. Um Blackwater Elite. He's
Blackwater.
still with
Mm.
Blackwater. Yeah. And then maing gabi Uncle KX Blank. So iya kong gi-remind kin sa to.
John
So it was really
Wilson. Oh,
because he
John
was with
Wilson.
me. Si Uncle KX, Uncle Ken was with me when we were watching that game. Na siya comment lain dire kato giaway ni Mac sa game dire sa Hoops Dome. So let me tell you about that story. It was a fight between teammates, Mac Cardona and John Wilson, because
It's not a good look.
Oh,
they were really fighting. To the point na interfere na si Jingo Estrada, he pulled Mac Cardona away from the bench. He had to talk to him, good, pacify him. Yeah, the reason behind it was because John Wilson was kind of hot, but people were cheering for Mac Cardona, so he wanted the ball in his hands. John Wilson wouldn't pass because he was kind of hot, and he has the reason. They wanted to win. That game was like first two quarters was kanang gukod-gukod. Murag they had the game in the bag mga probably late third. So muna to siya. Pero bottom line they were still like friendly after, pero that's bullshit. We know they hate each other after ato ilang
they probably
altercation.
do. They probably,
Hate
yeah, they probably had a team dinner and one ate by himself.
yeah. So kato na siya. For me lang si Macardona is really mura kay kung na-play ka ng ati manunon gani kay nga player, you have to really like pamper him and murag hustle sa nga player gamay pero he really plays good during his years, right? So let me show you
Agreed.
guys
Yeah.
this time, okay? So we have the same kuan we have the same player ni Jaff as the number one si kuan si Raba Al Husseini. Pero I'll start with my number 5 which is Paul Artadi.
Kid
For me,
Lightning.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kid Lightning. Kid Lightning. I mean, Paul Artadi was really a very good. He didn't receive any. He was like mythical five during FEUs, like atong glory days nila with James Yap, Arnold Booker, si
UE,
si ha
Rush. Let me ask you
yeah
UE,
this:
di ba?
Pollard Taddy, Pollard Taddy was Rajon Rondo before Rajon Rondo.
exactly. That
Hey,
guy has speed,
before
but
that,
doesn't have a jumper.
before
Not a
that,
good
Paul
jumper. It's
Artadi
so
would
ugly.
not survive in today's like game
No, he
of
wouldn't.
like
No, he
point
wouldn't.
guard who couldn't shoot. He was
Yeah.
like Topex
Can't.
Robinson, di ba? Topex and Paul
Yeah.
Artadi.
Just couldn't shoot.
Para sa ko alam, si Topex is okay. Because bright man si Topex ng yes, high basketball IQ gyud. I guess that's the reason why coach siya karon. Pero with Paul Artadi, I mean, he was really a very kanang mura ganig if you're a college scout and you'd want to really look for like players to fill to come up with a team, for sure you wouldn't miss out Polartadi. He had the speed. Um, he could really play point guard at an elite level in college. That's just the hole in his game probably. Ang iya ra yung shooting. Pero in fairness to him, he had like 5 6 years in the PBA. Three of those were with his teammate James Yap sa Pure Foods,
UE.
pero after draft he was Rajon Rondo before Rajon Rondo. Yeah, because
Yeah. He had such an ugly jump shot, man. I'm like, well, how did you make it to the pros?
true,
It's like
true,
right
I was like,
there, and then he would shoot it going back. Hey, but
exactly.
in fairness,
no.
but in fairness, that Pure Foods team, Roger Yap, Artadi, Kirby Rimundo, and James Yap, they
Oh,
were
really
really
good
good. They
team.
were really fun to watch.
Really good
They were
team.
really fun to watch.
Napasay tubid ato. Ug si
Yeah.
Booker, they were
But
like the
still,
Warriors before.
Wait, hold on. I want to name a team. I want to name a team that was super sayang, and my brother and I just talked about this ganina, and we'll probably do another show on this side. This was one of the most exciting teams to watch. Power Raid, Gary David, Marshall Lassiter, JV Casio. Do you remember this team?
Yeah, but man, I
Do you remember
hate
this team?
Gary.
There was so much fun to watch. Man.
I mean, he
El
plays good, but
Granada.
I don't hate him. I
I
just
like
don't
Gary
like
David.
him. Yeah,
Gary
just
David's
Yeah,
kick was really quick. He like peaked really
he,
quick, and then after
drop.
that,
it was like a bad
major
stock.
drop
Like you
off.
picked it up, went down. Like,
Yeah.
it just went up and down. Like, it was
What's
so
so
high,
scary
then it's so
with
fast.
Artadi ba? I think I was in third year high school and they were no, sorry. I was already in college and they were already in college. Kay UE naman siya to. They had like this game invitational cup there sa Cebu from M. Lulier. So they played one tune-up game there sa Cebu and fortunately I was kanang sa Visayan Glass man sila sa Guadalupe Gadua. So
Right.
I know some people there, so they invited me over because they didn't say nga UE ang makikuan, makigduwa, makig kanang tune up. So I was just invited because I play a lot there. So ngadto ko, it was the UE players, man. So ako is grabihang artadi bantayan yun. I experienced it firsthand. Kapuya gud bantayan. He doesn't like really stop, right? Probably because he doesn't spot up because he can't shoot. So he always cuts. He always like kanang kasi he's like kanang kuan gud siya. Mura si Speedy Gonzalez
You
para
hope
sa
that.
kuat. Yeah. Okay,
You hope
I
that
wasn't
maybe.
able to finish the game. Nakigtunga ra ko because what they wanted was man-to-man defense. Murag na ilang gusto ba nga. Ako kanang murag gud all in good. So I had to like follow him around. So I did finish the game. Hantod ra ko kanang murag bali lang ba. And then nagpasab na ako. My legs were really like hurting after like chasing him around for like probably mga 20 minutes. Di na magin mada. All right. So kuan lang. Next on my list is R.R. Garcia. Okay, so he was a good
Vice
player.
Ganda, man. What did Vice Ganda do ever do to him? I don't know.
Actually, di man good siya. Di man siya. Iya mag-teammate. Di man
I
niya
know.
Because
siya.
it
You guys know
I
the
thought it was
story. You know the
Pirates and
chismis
RR.
about this, right? Between him and
Right, I
Romeo,
thought it was
right?
Pirates and RR.
Yeah.
Somebody
So,
clarify the
yeah.
story for me.
pero mo na siya. For me lang, R.R. Garcia's career really kanang mura ganig he's too short of a two guard. Probably sa college he would really his career in college really pan out because
Same thing with Joseph Yu, di ba?
exactly.
Kinda.
Him
Murag
and Joseph, they
inana.
were kind of similar, scarily similar. Yeah.
Exactly. Pero a good thing about Joseph Yo is that he had years in the PBA manggod nga kanang somehow
Yeah,
his
he was
place
pretty good.
was kinda unguardable or it was really effective. Unlike ni RR nga, I mean, mura gani you try to give him a chance because of his college career, right? Pero sad to say, I'm giving him probably 3 4 years. If he doesn't change his ways, if he doesn't like really prove himself, if he doesn't outwork other players, then unfortunately, wala. Murag he's gonna go to the MPBL. Good. Feel na nako probably 2 3 years from now. All right. So the next guy on my list is Rich Alvarez. Okay, so I started watching UAAP gyud grabe na tan-aw during the Ateneo kanang days gyud nga naa si Rich Alvarez. I really like the guy because number one kuan siya. Kanang mura gani he could be like a poster boy for Ateneo. Has the intellect to excel, has the height. He's like 6'4", 6'5". So mura gani every kanang dream sa like me nga growing up nga kanang mura gani I wanna be like him. Bright, nasa Ateneo, maimuduag basket, mura gani varsity. So and he was also the MVP during one season. I think it was the season nga murag na suspend si Enrico Villanueva. But I guess that season si Enrico magidapat gyapon ang MVP ato except that he was called for a technical foul because with the fight with Joseph Yo. So muna siyang si Rich Alvarez ang MVP. Because as far as I know sa UAAP, if you get one technical, if you're tossed out from a game rather, not just technical, if you're tossed out from a game or ejected, then dili na ka pwede ma-MVP. So I guess
Oh
that's
wow.
one, yeah, I guess that's the reason why Alvarez became the MVP of that season. Pero, kuwan lang, when he came to the PBA, he was a number one pick by Shell. And I forgot the name of the coach of Shell. During that time, it was a foreigner. Kalimot ko sa name. Pero people were expecting him good nga to have a kanang breakout year. But sad to say,
Yeah.
even during the first game, wa man siya padua as yung coach. I don't know why, pero that coach was a believer in good down of veterans. So I guess that's also one reason na nung wa gyud mo pan out ato nga pero he was the rookie of the year ato. Pero he wasn't like kinang I don't know. What can you say, Brush, regarding Rich Alvarez like kanang iyang career? Because for me, he had the tools. It was just that muraga I guess this goes with Noy Baklaw og ni Rob Al-Husseini. Kanang they
Yeah.
don't have to give their 100% because they're secured or they're sure na they'll get everything kuan. They're gonna get like they're still gonna be in the league because of their height. Murag inana. There are few guys who plays their position who are really good. So
Yeah.
murag inana. For me lang.
I'll say this. When you talk about, because you have actually all three of these guys that you have on your list, they're all Ateneo guys.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes with Good Brush, and when you're talking about the Ateneo system, and I think if I remember correctly, this was the Norman Black era. Alvarez, Al
Yes.
Hussein, and Baclao, they all played under Norman Black. Norman Black at the time was really good at developing a system that benefited 3, 4, and 5. You remember Norman Black was also the coach when you had Nico Salva and Greg Slaughter, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm,
Remember that? Right. So they were system players to me. These guys are a byproduct of the Norman Black system where they developed really well. And then you had all these really good guards that surrounded them. And Norman Black wanted to prioritize an inside out kind of game. So the ball more or less would touch their hands a lot more than it did the PBA. And they really couldn't translate this. One of the toughest things to do is to change your game from when you're so used to having the ball in your hands to not. You have to play off ball. You have to find basket cuts. You have to really modify your game at times, especially when you're walking into a team like and when you're going to the professional leagues where they don't need another player to have the ball in their hands. So that's what kind of happened also to. Well, Baclau wasn't really known for offense. He was more like Anthony Davis ish. He was in the
yes.
league for defense. Couldn't
True.
translate that also in the PBA. But I was saying in Alvarez to me, they would have had a better shot if they just knew how to play a different kind of style, not change it altogether, but somehow know how to cut know when to run the floor, know when to spot up and shoot. Not necessarily from 15 to 30 feet from the floor, but but at least from the mid-range game because that's where you need to be.
Alvarez also doesn't have like.
No
Did you
jump
see
shot.
his, like yeah? Did you see his like shooting form? That puzzles me, ba nga. You do have all the resources in the world to develop yourself on
No good.
something that's gonna make you earn millions, and then that's just weird. Good para sa ko agad. That goes
Eh, but
with hmm,
mm, yeah,
yeah,
I always say this all the time to my brothers also downstairs, man. Hey, if you're in the pros, it kind of baffles me sometimes because we growing up, we all have dreams of turning pro, right? I mean, we're playing basketball in our backyards, we're playing in these leagues, barangay, whatever, and then you kind of wonder when these guys hit pro, like, why aren't you like your expectations are so high because if you're always saying if you could do it, why not? But all you need to do is play basketball. You wake up, you're living our dreams. Like how come? How
sure.
come you're not any good at shooting or any of these other things? It kind of baffles me too.
Exactly. And then that goes with Noy Baclao as well. Unfortunate lang good kang Noy Baclao is that he still has a PBA career. He was used by Alaska a lot. It's just that
Yeah.
dili good siya man. Pero sakto si Jeff, even during his collegiate days, he wasn't like the main man manggid sa iyang team. There was Raba with him, right? I guess the main reason why he was picked number one is because they had similar talents. I mean, sorry, for me lang gid mas superior ang duwa ni Raba if he just utilized everything he had. It's just that ni dako lang gid diretso yung ulo. He was playing half-hearted like
Easy.
probably even during his college days. If di pa to si Norman Black ang ilang coach ato, I really doubt if Raba would even excel that much. He's just tall, pero I doubt. If you put him probably in Adamson or in other teams, he wouldn't be that. Okay, so para lang gid sa ko, I guess the main reason why these players, especially the top three, their careers didn't pan out, probably because then again the PBA sa una is like daghan kayo og players nga let's say 5'9" ang height and below. We've got a lot of one and two guards. These players are like 6 footers, 6'4" and above. So I guess para sila it's okay for them not to really give it their all because they're sure nga they're still gonna be picked up by a team one way or the other because there are just really few big men. Pero once the influx of like mga Phil-Ams nga mga dagko na gyud nga kanang kuan dagko
And
nga
still,
These
still
really
yeah.
big
big.
guys.
So I guess
And
that's
still,
nawa sila sa passing. Pero sayang lang gid, sayang gid kayo. That I guess sa ako lang sada, I guess this is meant for the next topic that we have in regards to the PBA. The PBA really has a lot of talent. Okay, the Philippines rather or Filipinos. There are a lot of Filipinos nga pwede good makatungtong og PBA or magdugay sa PBA. It's just that sad to say there are only 10 teams, right?
mm,
Butangan pa nimog politics inside every team. So that's
Oh,
really kind of hard to compete. All right, that's really kind of hard. That's the sad part.
true,
That's the sad part. Okay.
and
Hey,
guys,
true.
kanang if our lists kanang tell you anything ba, it's the fact na just because you're really good in college and then you got drafted in the PBA does not mean that you should stop improving.
true.
There's still so much room for
True.
improvement. I mean, we see a lot of guys who made like really great PBA careers and they weren't even stars in college.
True. I
But
guess
Oh,
they kept
JJ Castro for one.
the reason behind that for me guys no is I think mas magdugay or mas mo peak pa ang player if there were nobody during college. I could really name a lot.
Exactly.
I could really name
Jeff
a lot.
Chan.
Exactly. Larry Fornashier.
Aram,
Yeah. I
JP
mean,
Aram,
Boy Adam.
oh yeah, Poy Aram. Exactly. Exactly.
William
Mga
Wilson, man.
daghan good kayo. Mark, those people who has like a point to prove, I guess they were
Yeah.
the ones who nagdugay gid sa PBA. Murag inana to para lang sa kuha. Alright? So guys, those were like the list that we have for our top 5 collegiate players that did
Fearless, guys. Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So the next thing that we would like to talk about Okay, would you guys want to talk about the PBA or would you want to talk about the Sisafi players?
2 out of 3 vote here.
Yeah, because I think we could discuss one more topic because if we're gonna discuss both, we're gonna run out of time.
I think we should
Migs, what
just
are you feeling?
go for the I think we should just go for the PBA because our Safi guys like deserve an
They deserve
episode.
their own show. They deserve their own show.
All right. So let's start with Amigi's top 5 things the PBA should change. All right. So let me just download this. Okay, got it. So let me just show you Migi's top 5 things that PBA should change. All right. Go ahead, Migs.
Yeah, let's hey guys, watch out for that Safi episode. We're gonna love it.
The, the Chris Paul thing makes me laugh every time.
I got the right facial expression too. Okay, number five. Number five. Let's go with better commentators, man. I mean, the commentators. Okay, ha. Ronnie Magsanok and Benji Paras.
Papa Bear.
They're really great players, but they do commentary during a game. Diba, they do commentary for the NBA games, diba?
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
And then it's like the game's going well and then Ronnie Magsanok just says na ano bang lunch mo, Papa Bear? I mean, where does that come from? And they don't know the players. They don't know except for the stars, they don't know the players. So I wish we had better commentators. I mean, I grew up
This is funny to me.
I grew up watching the PBA on ABC5 and RPN9.
Yeah.
And then we had like the Dean, Kinito Henson.
Tito Henson. Oh my god, he was so good. He was so good.
And then growing up, I thought Kinito Henson was the shit. I mean, he was like really good.
He was so good. He was so good.
Then I grew up and I realized na he actually talked too much. I mean, he talks too much right now. Ryan Gregorio, I don't like Ryan Gregorio. He's a guy who talks again. He likes to talk too much. But guys, I mean, he's a local guy. I'm gonna mention a name. He's a local guy. He came from USGR. He's one of the PBA's top 25 players. But he should be like one of the worst commentators we've ever had. Jojo freaking Lastimosa. I love you as a player, but you're terrible as a terrible commentator. Terrible.
Oh my
And
god.
the thing is, we have so many great commentators in the NCAA, in the UAP, and in the
Oh, Boom
NBBL.
Gonzalez. Give me Boom Gonzalez all day, man. I love Boom Gonzalez.
It's really good.
How about Miko Halili? Huh?
Who?
Miko Halili.
Yeah,
Miko
Miko-
Oh,
Halili.
Miko Lili. Yeah, Miko Lili. I like him
Okay.
too. But Biggs,
I'm gonna-
let me just say this.
Commentating.
Yeah. Yeah,
Boom
go, Jeff.
Gonzalez, my favorite. You know you're a good commentator, Migs, when you know when you watch a game, you're waiting for him to say a line. Mike Breen has bang, Boom Gonzalez gets it to go, and you always get so excited when he says that. I'm like, that's so cool, man. I love it when he says
I
that.
mean, the college guys and the MPBL guys are like they're like more hype. Even
True.
Magu,
Oh, they have a lot
even
of
Magu.
energy.
I sometimes I just want Magu to like Magu, settle down for a bit.
Magu Marjon.
Richard Del Rosario, I know you were a player, but you can't. You don't know how to comment. You don't know how to commentate on games, man. You just stay in your lane, Richard Del Rosario. But hey, one more name I'm gonna throw out there. Will Antonio, I think Coach Hammer. He does a lot of college games and MPBL games. He's the bald guy.
Yeah.
Really good biceps. I mean, he's really good.
Will
He's really
Antonio was
good.
a player for Coca-Cola before,
Yeah.
yeah? Is this
Yeah.
the thing?
Really
Yeah.
good.
I remember Will Antonio. Yeah.
Okay, and moving on to number 4, the Ray Parks rule. I mean, they have the Ray Parks rule now. So basically, the Ray Parks rule it was named after Ray Parks, obviously. Now, if you are a college player and you're eligible for the draft, you're not supposed to dodge the draft, diba? Because if that when you dodge the draft, okay, let's say for example you're a really good college player, but you don't want to play for like Blackwater or Colombian Jeep, because they're really bad teams. So you don't enter the draft that year, and then you wait for. So I don't want them to change the Ray Parks rule. I want them to like really enforce the Ray Parks rule, and I
Actually,
want
they're
them to be more serious about it. Yeah,
they're
but
doing
I want them to
pero ang
with
ilang
30.
yeah, with 30. Pero their ilang ruling right now is two draft class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If
ako Mark,
you don't
I want them to be more serious about it, because this is one way of the big teams, the rich teams. Because in the PBA, the draft, it's supposed to be an equalizer, diba? It's supposed to be the chance where the bad teams get a chance
Become good.
getting a franchise player. And then now you have like draft dodgers. So I want them to enforce it. Why not? Okay, why not enforce like a 5-year ban, and then plus a fine, and then whoever team gets you in the draft, whoever team gets you after you're banned, they also suffer a fine. Diba? I mean, the PBA should be more serious about this, because
pero
I didn't put this. Yeah,
pero
sige Mark.
don't you think, Migs, it would be applicable for those players nga kanang na ay mga star good ba, mga star players good or notable players, because murag
Yeah.
I think na may uban good nga, as far as I know, let's say for example, lang si PJ Simon, if he was a
Okay.
player right now, right, would this be applicable to him? Kay pagsugod niya ang PBA, he wasn't drafted, marag mga inana ba, marag it took him like pila ka years to decide nga magpa-draft siya, then he was undrafted pag yun, so marag inana ba, so
Yeah, but
double standard ni siya if ever.
well, lagi, pero I think lang no, it's really a bigger problem here in the Philippines, because guys, I know you're familiar with this. If the US, and if they did what they did in the USNCAA, where they really cracked down on those kanang players that were given incentives, given cash,
Mhm.
diba?
Yeah.
Because that violates the rules of amateurism, which is like
True.
the biggest rule in college. Now you're supposed to remain an amateur. In the USNCAA, you can't give your athletes more than what is required of them sa scholarship. So free education, free room and board, diba? You can't give them cash. You can't even give them like food allowance or clothes, much less car. So that's what happened in the NCAA. Guys, I tell you, if they did that here in the Philippines, so many teams would be suspended. So many teams. I have it on good information. I know a lot of college players. I know some college players in the NCAA and in the UAP. And then the perks. I mean, even the parents are given perks here in the Philippines, like 10,000 a month,
For sure.
12,000.
For sure. For
And
sure.
then
For
if
sure.
they did an investigation on that, just like what they did in the
Could
USNCAA,
we name
so
names?
many.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Sources
Pero
under
sa,
the
have you guys
download.
watched the movie?
Yeah, but
Have you watched the movie Blue Chips? Shaquille O'Neal
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
Nick Nolte.
yeah.
That movie actually like shows the bad side of the NCAA sa America, like how boosters actually does it under the table and such. Mayana.
Oh,
So
Zion got busted for
it's
that. Remember?
Huh?
yeah, Zion.
Zion Williamson got busted for that. He accepted some type of money from somewhere. I forgot where, but he got busted for the same thing. Yeah. But go ahead, Mix.
Was it
Yeah,
proven?
it's the same thing here. I mean, we have, if you really look at it, we have MVP teams, Manny Pangilinan teams on in college. Now we know they're Manny Pangilinan teams, diba? We have
Ateneo.
SM teams, SM. We have
Was
Kitsaning
it? Hold
Salasal,
on. Was it Henry C who financed NU?
No,
NU.
UE.
Who was that?
NU.
Who was that? No. Who financed NU? The one year where they lost Bobby Parks, but they made it all the way back to the
Was it
NU.
NC? Was it at SM? Diba
Yeah, I think it was
SM?
Henry C. And all the NU folks are saying, or all the UP folks, I think, were saying that this is what happens when you have money. Because NU, I think that was Glenn Cobuntin, the Glenn Cobuntin era in NU.
Yeah, Glenn Cobuntin, man.
Glenn Gubundin era. Yeah, I remember. That
And
was so funny.
you have the Kuangkus in Lasal, Kuangkus, di ba?
Oh my
Yes.
god. Yeah,
And then
you're loaded.
there's
You're
a
loaded.
long list of UP alumni. You know the alumni in UP. So yeah, I mean, this is just
Oh,
such a
hold on.
deeper
Wait.
problem.
To be Yeah, to be fair to UP, they didn't start doing all this booster nonsense not until they started
Very
recruiting
recent,
out
di ba?
of Manila. They only recently got into it because I remember they started recruiting guys like Paul Desiderio, Janjan Hoboneta. They started recruiting guys like Henry Asilum. That's when UP started getting more traction. And then finally, when Jet Manuel graduated, which was kind of unfortunate for Jet Manuel, that's when you saw all this influx of talent. That's when you saw all this influx of
Jet
talent just
Manuel was
come
an unlucky
pouring
guy.
in.
Jet Manuel was unlucky. Would he go? Hey,
Yeah.
good thing for Jeff to mention guys like Asilom and Haboneta because that might be a future episode we do. Di ba,
Oh,
Jeff?
for
We
sure.
talked about that. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Ray Parks rule, enforce it, be strict about it, like keep it real. And then number three, keep it to two conferences. Because right now we have like an all Filipino and then a governors and a commissioners and their import conferences. Okay, show of hands, us three, show of hands, who enjoys the All Filipino Cup more than the import conferences? I love the All Filipino more. I enjoy it more because the All Filipino Cup is more competitive. It's like a more even playing field because everyone's playing All Filipino. And then how often did we see teams like Ginebra win just because they had Justin Brownlee? Diba?
Yo, I love Inebra. I love Brownlee. Pero
Yet
true.
mo lagi
Oh,
ba?
but you have to remember, Meral Meralco would only win because of Alan Durnham.
Yeah. But ako lang Jeff ba? If we keep it to two conferences, we get to have a longer all Filipino conference. We get to see guys like Reynel Hugnatan play more because dili siya matabunan sa import. We get to see players like JC Intal play more. 'Di ba? These wings who are really good, they get to play more because and then that just endears the PBA more to the fans because they see them more. And
Hey
then,
guys,
di ba, I mean, I just, sige, what, Mark?
I actually I just saw something sa Facebook karon.
Yeah.
Di ba sa PB karon it's still all Filipino. Ginebra had a game ganina. You know who the best player is?
Don't tell me it was Jafet Aguilar.
Nope.
Oh.
It's Prince Caperal.
Hey,
Prince Caperal. Prince
I
Caperal.
love that
What?
guy.
That's the reason
Big
why I
man who
love
can
all
shoot from the
Filipino.
outside.
These guys would have the opportunity, good ba? Because really, parang Prince Caperal would be, yung position is just like Brownlee. Though I love Brownlee, pero sayang sad ba? Sayang ng mga player.
More so karon na he gets the opportunity because Slaughter's not there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
So yeah,
Pero,
Prince Caparel.
yeah, we're gonna, another episode na Slaughter thing. Let's talk about
So-
the last person.
Yeah, keep it to two conferences because diba if the PBA wants more fans to tune in, like the all Filipino is it, diba? That's the key. Because as Pinoy fans, we want to see our Pinoy stars really bring it for their teams. We don't want to see like okay, we don't want to see we don't want to see let's say Phoenix or Meralco. Okay, we don't want to see Meralco and we see Baser Amir score like 12 points and have 5 assists and 5 rebounds. And the player of the game is Alan Durnham who has like 40 points, 25 rebounds, and 13 assists. Diba? I mean, that's the
yeah.
diba that's the trend.
It is.
That's
it
the
is.
trend. So keep it to two conferences. And then number two, this is a big deal and relates to number one, sister teams. Sister teams. And that is the virus, that is the cancer of the PBA. Sister teams. Because how many teams does San Miguel have? Like they have 2. How many teams does the MVP group have? They have NLEX, they have Meralco,
TNT.
yeah. Who's the fourth one? 3, di ba? So the really independent teams are like, di ba, the only independent team na dagko, is like Alaska, di ba? This
Oh yeah,
independent team has, and rain or shine maybe.
true.
Kay is Magnolia independent?
No, Quanco,
Miguel,
SMC.
SMC, kasi it's SMC still. So, I mean, lang the point ba is that kanang when you have sister teams, it was a couple of years ago na it was all Filipino, San Miguel versus Ginebra, and it was after a game. And after the game, in the finals, the San Miguel and Ginebra teams had dinner together after the game. How ridiculous is that?
Talk about unity.
I mean, di ba,
Ridiculous, man.
you're supposed to make it competitive, and you have dinner together and you allow pictures to be taken. Diba? And then, kana, you alternate winning games. You know, San Miguel wins game 1 and then Ginebra wins game 2. And then miraculously we get to a game 7. It's, di ba?
Somehow.
If the PBA wants to if the PBA wants to have more credibility, do away with the sister teams, man. Give that to another expansion franchise. Because ang sister teams ba, the other thing with the sister teams is that if the PBA is like a corporation, then every governor, every team has one vote, di ba?
True.
So if you really think about it, how many votes does SMC and MVP have? They have 3 votes each. So they can really control what happens in the PBA.
It's like an oligarchy going on there. Yeah.
Which
True,
goes to
true.
my next point. Which goes to my next points: lopsided trades and transactions. Okay, what's the most lopsided trade in recent history? That Stan Hardinger trade, di ba? For that number 1 draft pick. It is so
It
stupid.
doesn't
It
even make
is
any sense.
like, oh my god. So San Miguel trades a bunch of. They don't even trade any of their main players.
They
Huh?
don't,
They could
and they
have
got a
traded.
freebie.
They could have traded either Chris Ross or Cabagnot because they have too many point guards anyway for a number 1 pick, and they didn't even do that. What the fuck? I mean, they really think people don't notice this.
They could have thrown away Paul Zamar. To be fair, Paul Zamar. They could have thrown him in there. They didn't need him.
Yeah. Hey man, but hey, yeah, lopsided trades. Get it together, PBA. Get it freaking together.
All right, all right. So, Mig,
Passion.
yeah, we're gonna like proceed with Jeff's like top 5 things PBA should change. All right, because then again, we just want the best basketball available. Good. Muna siya yung bottom line why we are doing this, why we're giving our suggestion. Hopefully, Kume would be able to see this episode and would somehow or
Take it
advise.
in. Just digest. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So here is Jeff's
Bananas.
top
Take
5
the
things.
bananas.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Well, I actually want to change number 5 because I kind of want to retract this number 5 because I understand you guys need to get paid. And at the end of the day, when you're pouring in your blood, sweat, and tears into a game, I get it. So I'm gonna change number 5 to what Miggy mentioned. What I think is also important is conferences. It doesn't make sense why there are 3. To me, 2 is fine. 1 import, 1 all PBA, all Filipino. That's it. I don't understand what the third one is for. There's like a 6'4" import requirement. I don't know why there's even height requirement. I don't get it. Like PBA, just 2 is fine so that we understand from January to June, it's all Filipino. From June towards the end of the year, it's the import cup. Simple. Nothing complicated, right? Ownership of teams. Miggy touched on this really well. You're trading off your own players, and the owner under the table just gets to decide, hey, I want this team to be stronger because Migs, I work in marketing and I work in like sourcing and recruitment for a bunch of big companies. What I know is this, Migs. It's strategically a low cost marketing idea to run a PBA team. And what happens is I for 1 year I'm gonna focus on TNT and then I'm gonna spend all my money this way. But if you already have that secured, then this team. So you're just basically building up teams to build your brand. And the ownership of the teams needs to be spread out a little bit more so that we avoid this stupid conspiracy that the owner is the one who decides who wins what game. PBA, if you're listening, for the love of God, enough. because a lot of these conspiracy theories might even be true. Which leads me to number three, game fixing. We all know it's gonna go to game seven. It's not even, it's not even a
Every
question.
time.
Like what?
Okay, give me
Every
Time.
something. If not
time,
game
game
seven,
six,
deep
so high.
into the playoff, deep into the series. Man.
I mean, Migs, we know this. Every PBA fan knows this. There are just sometimes where you know the feel of the series is. I remember it was Ginebra, and I think it was Magnolia, or I can't remember if it was Ginebra or San Miguel. One game, the first four games were so lopsided, favoring the other team. I think one game Ginebra won by 20. The next game San Miguel won by 30. The next game Ginebra wins by 20. So one of the I think it's obvious naman siguro na game 7 padonggid ba? Which is something the league needs to fix. And the 2 and 1 to me are so important. Number 2, Migs and Mark. I watched a game yesterday. I think it was the Phoenix Fuel Masters. My brother is to me to the side, Derek, and he watches PBA. I told him, Doug Kramer's in Phoenix? And I'm like, wait a sec. I take a good look. It's Dave Marcello. I'm like,
Dave
wasn't he
Marcello.
cut? Wasn't he cut before? What happened? Was the pandemic that bad that you ate the former Dave Marcello? Was that what happened? I was like, looking at my brother, he looks like Doug Kramer. I'm like, what happened? So Rush and Migs, there is a rule that's also I think applicable in the NBA, but it's more so. I'm a big NFL fan. It's more so applicable in the NFL. Number one, there's a weight requirement. You can't go below it. Number two, there's also this is not a joke. Rush, this is not a joke. Remember when I think it was Sri Rollins, I think, or yeah, Glenn Big Baby Davis. He's actually out of the league because he couldn't meet the fitness requirement. He can't be below a certain weight. There are health and fitness experts who tell owners and management that this player's optimal weight to perform on the court is this. You go below this, you're in violation of this rule. So they have to have a health standard and requirement. Look at all the Basir Amer looks like he ate 2 lechons before he came into the pandemic, and all these other guys look fat. Migs, we talked about this. They're fat. They're fat.
Okay, I'm not gonna
They're
use the F word. I'm not gonna use the F word because I
professional.
don't want to fat shame. But I am gonna say they don't look in shape. That's a nicer way of saying it.
There's a lot
They're
of
not
Migs,
in shape.
I'm not gonna be nice about it. You guys look fat. What the hell? You're
the
professional
funny thing
athletes for the love
is
of God.
they were informed in the PBA a month before the start, so they really
Oh my
had
God,
time to really get into shape. Maski sa ilan na
bro.
lang mga balat. I mean, Paulie did it.
Asian Falcons did it.
Yeah, I mean, why can't the others do it?
Brush, here, here's like I was so funny. I saw it and Dave Marcelo like, wow, man, you let yourself go. But here's the thing,
Oh,
Brush. It's showing, Manggod. It's showing. R. Pogoy, Bobby Ray Parks, Kiefer Ravena, and Jason Perkins. These four names I'm saying right now because they had really good nights the last 4 nights, and it shows because they're trimmed, they're in good shape, and we just as fans want to see good quality basketball. Why the hell am I? They that was the funny thing. What the hell, man? What are you? You're a pro, really? The rest of you look chubby as hell. What the hell? Which makes me lead to the number one thing. Huh? This is not number two. Is not leading to number one, but I feel like it's very important to consider. Change the PBA to the MPBL format. Don't we? And I talked about this with Miggy. Wouldn't there be so much more fanfare, fandom, pride if a professional team was owned by a local team, let's say in Cebu, Zamboanga, Davao, bring back the old NBA format because there is so much to be had when you like I watch the NPBL because I want to see what the Sharks are doing every now and then. As much as I like the PBA, you're watching it because yeah, these are the best athletes we have, quote unquote. But then I watch the NPBL a lot more because these guys are from San Juan, these guys are from Negros, these guys are from Bacolod, Mac Mactalio, and I think JJ Alejandro. They're playing there. And then the Casino Sharks, you have all, ex-Safi guys. So there's a point of pride to be had. And I think the PBA, if you're looking at if you can possibly finance it, because we all know what happened in the NBA, if you can possibly finance it and just get a group of basketball aficionados and addicts together and say, can we make this happen? I guarantee you the first thing you'll see is an increase in viewership because me as a Cebuano, if I got guys on my team or the team that I'm rooting for in a specific area or like the Cebu Sharks, and I got a really good crop of talent, when teams are flying in to watch, I will watch. You will see a
true.
jam-packed arena of crazy Cebuanos watching in Davao, in Zamboanga, in Bohol, even in Manila. You think PBA? We don't think we're better than those in Manila? Do you actually think we believe you're better than us? We think we're better than you. So imagine the rivalry that ensues. You imagine the trash talk that will ensue. That's just what I'm saying, huh? Think about it for a sec. Imagine you're in the age of social media, huh? Imagine what happens when you structure it in a way wherein people now have a point of pride when they're watching your games. They have that. They will develop that, and they will really learn to develop a love for basketball more than what you have right now. The PBA, you have a couple of teams, good talented players, so. But if I have to watch Dave Marcelo play basketball and he looks like he wants to eat more than play, I'd rather turn off the TV, man. Oh my god, man. Keeper Rabetta, by the way, looks chubby, man. It's so weird too. Keeper, man, come on, man. Oh my
True,
You
true.
god.
saw how he played last night, though.
Hey,
Huh?
If that
hats off.
fadeaway
That's
went
my favorite. If that fader
in,
went in, Amy getting out talking, man. Man, for sure, for sure, for
All
sure.
right, all right. So that was Jeff's like five suggestions for the PTA. Okay. So let me just pull up mine. I'll just be quick with it, guys. I know we've almost reached like 2 hours again, but it's then again, time flies by when you're really having fun. Okay, so let me just okay, here it is. So my list is it's really kind of similar. We just really want what's good for the PBA. So number 5 for me is FIBA rule. All right. So the PBA is adopting NBA rules. So for me lang ha, we know for a fact that murag ganig we can't be that caliber man gyud. We've the people have done it for like countless years trying to do what the NBA is doing. All right, it's okay. It nindot na sad siya. Pero for me lang ha, if our goal is to be part of the Olympics again, since we've always been supportive of Alab or sorry Gilas, so why not put the FIBA rule in effect sa atong pro team or sa pro league? Mainly because most of the players sa to ang tawagan na sa to ang Gilas team are PBA players. So mura gani instead of them adapting to the FIBA rules kanang immediately. So if they were doing it for the whole year, mas anad sila. Mas diha pa nun to makita. Though, do you think guys boring ang FIBA rules or what?
I
I'm
actually
down with
think it's
the
more
FIBA
fast
rules, man.
paced.
Fast paced, right?
FIBA rules make things faster. But sila pa yung naguna sa 14 seconds nga shot clock.
Shot na katong reset, reset. Yeah,
Yeah, plus no timeouts from players and all that.
exactly. So mo lang ginasya ko for me the FIBA rules would really be very perfect if they do this because they would be hitting a lot of birds with one stone. Then again, kung atong goal is makasud sa qualifiers or masud sa Olympics o balik, this would be like the perfect fix to it. I mean, all the players who are candidates for the Gilas team would already be kanang mura gani kabisado na nila ang ruling. They don't have to like adapt, change their style of play or something. So that's my number 5. And then number 4, this is for the commissioner and his people. Thinking outside the box. I mean, the bubble na ikuan sa PBA karon. I mean, we know for a fact it's really like a photocopy of what the NBA is doing, and they're also doing a very terrible job of like copying the original. Murag inana. I mean, I'm happy nga walay cases sulod sa PBA bubble. But damn, you see guys selling something on their rooms. I mean, what's the murag ganig murag kato nga time they were still quarantined. I mean, what's the thought ba? What's the ideology of Bo Belga selling stuff to James Yap inside his room. Ragana. Diba? Mark, I think for thinking outside the box, the only thing that the PBA for me, they didn't say this out loud, but for me, what the PBA is doing right is probably allowing these players to do mga vlogs. There are a lot of PBA players doing vlogs nowadays. I mean, that brings them closer to the fans nga maintresado balik tanaw sa basketball and all. All right, pero then again, I just saw ganina around 5 p.m. I was notified Danny Ildefonso, si Lakay, who is like an assistant coach for Meralco. he placed his phone underneath the kanang bracer ring. Dito siya nag-live. I mean, saan naman tao ning inanay? Right during warm-ups. I mean, do you have to really do that? I mean, NBA teams are really very strict regarding what they actually show in public. For these PBA players, I mean, kang Scotty Thompson, I mean, it's really fun, ha? It's really fun. Don't get me wrong. Pero Scotty Thompson has footages during their workouts, their practices. And then if you would also see their practices, I mean, kaya ta mo nagaduwa ra gid. I think they're having like a vacation inside the bubble. Murag inana ba? And then
And they get paid
um
for it. Paid for it.
yes. And then another thing that they really messed up is katong mga virtual fans. I think Miggy actually said it right. Nga katong murarag na banig ba nga gibutang sa bongbong. I mean, they could have done like I mean, they have all the resources. They have talk and text. They
That was embarrassing.
do that.
Virtual fans and no one's even watching.
Exactly. Kita ko ata one time itong si Bolik naghigda maghubo ataya. That was and me. Walang yun. I mean, the mura na nun siya comedy na gid kayo ang PBA ron ba? That's the thing. And then brings me up to my third kuan suggestion, conferences. I'm with Miggy on this one. Dapat the PBA should have like only two conferences, all Filipino o katong one import lang tingali. Like one conference nga na import. And I think they should do it like a little bit longer. And they say if mas taas ang conference, mas boring siya. So PBA, you have a lot of guys there. Think outside the box. Think of how you could bring people in. All right. So my second here is SMC franchises. So sister teams. Mura gyud gyapon, sister teams. And I do have one comment here from Chris Uy. Ingon siya, Marky Mark, remove sister teams. That's
Amen.
easier God and good. I mean, for me, nindot sad unta og walay sister teams, but it's easier said than done. I mean,
Yeah.
if you would allow SMC and MVP group to only have one team, where will I mean, who's gonna like kanang mura gani as far as I know, kinsa may mura gani what well quote ni give up Tanduay even gave up their PBA team. I mean, dili sayon sad ba? Di sad sayon. Pero then again, without sister teams, the PBA would be down to like what? 6 teams? If I'm right? 10 man sila karon, di ba? Sakto ba? 10?
Yeah, 10, I think.
So if you take out sister teams, they will be down to 6 teams. So musamot o ka boring. All right? So murag, I think they could take out remove the sister teams if they would be able to figure out how they could actually get like other teams or other companies involved. Because as far as I know, or di ba Shell sa una, they had a PBA team but they had to let go. Mga inana ba? As far as I know, SM is interested. M. Luwilier is interested. So pa may laing companies na interested.
Chooks to go.
Chooks to go, yeah. Chooks to go is interested. So pa may lain. Tanduay, IPI can even like they can't even have a decent team in the Sharks. So sao na lang ka kung PBA ang IPI. Pero
True,
then
true.
probably yes, IPI could if dili nila politikahon tingali Morgana
True,
sus na
true.
I'm dropping bombs na pod. Pero muna siya. So it's possible to remove sister teams pero it would really be easier said than done. Masha. And then sa home and away, as far as I know, I've heard news about this that the current commissioner is thinking about the home and away format. They're trying to test it out within the Metro Manila area or probably Luzon area. Na mura ganig na ay kanang Quezon City, na ay San Juan, na ay Makati, and they would I mean that sponsored gyapon gud siya. Gyapon pero mura ganig aside from their main team, let's say Ginebra, if there is like a big company in that city, pwede nila mabutang as another sponsor. Murag inana. Murag, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do sa PBA. Pero para sa kuha, murag manggod gyapon because you're not playing for pride. You're playing for the brand in front of your jersey, di ba?
True. True.
Yeah, and actually kadaghanan na nila as far as I know sada, the MBA was an experiment for the PBA. Right? Dili sila connected, pero the PBA had that in mind. Good thing that the MBA actually started it with the backup of ABS-CBN with the Lopeses. But even with the Lopeses, it didn't work out. Mainly because ang sayop lang sa MBA ato is they had bigger salaries. Their star player had bigger
Yeah,
salaries than the PBA. They were not
it
able to
became too expensive.
true, true. So, moto'y downfall good sa MBA. And para sa ko alam, if the PBA would, let's say for example, take nakasurvive man gani ang PBA with the pandemic, di ba? If they would take like 6 months off and really think about the process of doing it like
True.
kanang sa MPBL karon, I think it would really pan out. Murag
It would.
inana ba? Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, sa MPBL karon, every team is just required at least 5 local talents for them to operate. Sa PBA karon,
Guys,
yeah,
yeah. The difficult thing lang ba? Let me play devil's advocate here, no. The difficult thing with home and away is that the nature of the Philippines being an archipelago,
yeah,
travel is really difficult. Yeah. So I heard from a source in the MPBL na it's the MPBL is very expensive though. They're just really fortunate that Manny Pacquiao is really
Generous.
shouldering a lot of the expenses. Yeah, it's really generous because it's really expensive for the MPBL to ship all the equipment and all the crew. Let's say, for example, to Cebu for one game, and then next game you have to ship everyone to Zamboanga.
mm,
Mariana, but it's
true.
really expensive. And
But mix,
how often they play? Diba? Like they play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think it's
Murag yeah,
mix. Yeah, the one thing I could suggest, having done something like that before, when I was with my previous employer, was so you actually have to touch base with somebody who can produce the same quality of work, video production wise, and then you can just connect it from there because you don't have to keep moving. Because I kind of get it. The only people you need to move are the talents because that's what happens a lot with. If you notice the NBA, right? They have a local channel that they can just plug into, and then they can live it on NBA TV, Comcast Sports, TWC, all these different news channels. So I don't think it's that hard. I think the problem lang is, how do you coordinate with these local video producers and local networks where you can tell them, you can plug in, you can be our eyes on the ground so that you don't have to move things. And then I think, as easy as it sounds, the way I'm making it right now, I know it's a lot difficult because, again, money, contracts, that kind of thing. So let's see.
logistics.
I mean, you can make it work. You can make it work. It's easier.
Pero if if the PBA would do that, I think it would really be more fun. Pero mas gasto good siya. Pero kay tanaw na ko MPBL, it's really a Manny Pacquiao hobby. Mura gani because he loves the game of basketball. But I doubt if he has like really good returns towards this. I really
I'm
doubt,
pretty
man.
sure it doesn't. I don't think it does. But
I
hey, he
really,
loves the game.
true.
Yeah.
Pero mura
Just
gani
tells you how rich Manny Pacquiao is. A hobby
Oh,
turns into something that big. It's
exactly,
just-
exactly. So murag inana ba? Murag and para lang sad sa kuano, the very thing that the PBA should do to really to really draw lessen the drama gid nga murag ganig I don't know where it's really going. Murag para sa kuha the best years of the PBA was when June Bernardino was the commissioner. Murag para sa kuha. That was during like the 90s and then muna siya 90s because I think it was Noli Yala already during the early 2000 murag yana. So
yeah, it was not
during
yet.
those
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how young we are compared to Mark.
days.
Okay. In the 90s.
Yeah,
In
I
the
was
90s, I was 7 years old.
I was
Yeah.
already watching the PBA. I was already rooting for Hinebra and Alaska during those times. So kana
Oh,
saya
last time.
guys, yeah, the PBA. I mean, we love the PBA. I mean, I don't know with you
Big
guys.
love for the
I watch the PBA not religiously as much as the NBA, Pero kuan lang replays I watch it good before I sleep. Okay. I think lang sa no one thing that would help the PBA is if they could really get there are already vloggers who does it on YouTube nga mo hatag og kuan mo hatag og ka ng mga inside scoop about the PBA and give their thoughts as well mga na. Pero mura sad sila natakdan sad sa PBA OA sad kaya gani nang I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't want
the
to.
problem with the people, they're not really transparent about what goes on behind the scenes. One time, I mean, there was a journalist from spin.ph. He got banned from
Snowpad.
covering the PBA
I thought Snowpad was.
because I don't know if kinsa to Marka, but because he questioned the PBA on, if you remember, it was Global Port, and they had a head coach, but they had a consultant in he's the Adamson coach now. Si ano, brothers ganin sila. Pumaren, yeah, Pumaren.
Indo
That's
and
why.
Yeah,
Brand.
he was a consultant. Yeah. He was a consultant in Global Port, and like a reporter from Spin brought that up, and then he got banned from the PBA. So
All right.
we don't hate the PBA. We're angry about the PBA because because we love the PBA. We want it to do well.
True. So, guys, that was like our second topic for tonight. Okay, so we've reached the 2 hour mark again for the second consecutive day or episode, rather. All right. So, before we leave, though, just one. Let's do the 032 reacts. Okay. Let's just do one picture because si Jambi sige nag-PM sa ko because we didn't have dinner. Eh, dugay mi naabot. So,
What?
yeah. Nag-decorate man
Look
sa
at your priorities. Look at
nag-decorate
your
sa
priorities, bro.
All right. So let me just show you one picture, okay? And give me like your reaction to it. All right. So just give me a few moments here. This was taken like a year ago. I was just reminded by Facebook on this.
I'm scared.
You can see.
Oh, hey.
Hey! I
Hey.
wasn't here for this. Where was I? I remember this group.
No, this was the last time that I ever played with Miggy. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Jeff, go ahead. Ikaw, what can you say about this photo?
Hey, I remember this league. This was the one with the prayer meetings in the middle of by halftime. You have these weird prayer meetings. So yeah, no,
True,
we
true.
hey, in fairness to us, we played really well. We even went up against that team with like Ralph Bellarmino and those other like Panalay guys, and we gave them. I think we won that game. Did we not? We won
We
that
won it
game.
by 2 points.
2 points. Yeah, I remember. So we kind of gave them a bit of competition there. But yeah, this was a fun team to play for, man, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about you, Migs?
Look at that hair. That hair. Uh, yeah, I enjoyed this league. Kaso lang, I didn't like that I don't know if it was my shoes or it was the court, but
What's
it
the
was
English
really
term?
slick. I was always slipping. I was wearing my peak shoes. Yeah, peak man.
Ah, peak. Okay.
I don't know if it was the floor, it was the court, or it was the shoes. I always kept slipping, and then this was during like exams in law school. So I look now I look in shape, huh? I mean, I look like I'm in shape in this picture, but the lungs were not up to par. Let's just say that. Okay, I look in shape in that picture. I look good.
Oh man,
But the hair, man, look at the hair. Jeez, man.
Abogado.
man, what the hell? Bugado kay now, yeah.
Ako,
Hair. At
no,
least I had hair.
I look
Diba?
old.
Hey,
Okay. Taon.
where are you, man? Oh man, you look like a dad there, man, for sure.
I always look like a dad. I just want to play it again.
Uh-uh.
Morgan. I mean, yeah, this was the
True,
league.
true, true.
They were doing like prayer meeting and sharing during halftime. But that was really a fun league. Hopefully, makaduwa na tag
Wonderful.
league again. Migs.
Yeah, you guys got into a fight during that one of those times. That got na. Di ba? One of the guys
I
from the other
remember, I
team, he
remember.
threw a
Yeah,
No,
true.
no, I remember. So I was in the court. I'll tell the story. So I was in the in the middle of the game. We're in the middle of the game, right? And then I forgot the small skinny point guard that we had rolls up to the Bellarmino. He says, even siya, "Buho ang biro eh." And then for some reason it snaps. He snaps and he's like he wants to eat the little guy. And then so the referee's trying to separate everyone. Mark coming down to the court and yelling and all that. I can hear them talk down there because I was listening to their conversations. He was like, "Ah, di mo ko minom good." Well, that's not a bad thing. Like, why are you making such a big deal out of it? I don't get it.
I know.
Wala ka
Right?
kita, wala ka kita na ko sa bench because then when everyone was on the court, it's like, di ba, murag nagkagubot na gamay, and everyone was on the court. I was on the bench and I was like packing my things, like, no, no, not today. Not getting in the fight today. No, no, not today.
All
I
right.
can't get into a fight today.
Yes, sir. So, guys, then again, that was our episode for today. We talked about the PBA, those five players that whose careers didn't pan out, and five suggestions we have for the PBA to somehow do, if ever. All right, to make them a little bit more kuan ba, mas okay ang liga. Okay, so guys, that's it for tonight. We've reached a 2 hours mark again. Okay, so that's Cebuano Hoops live for you, where we talk anything about basketball. Okay, so Migs, anybody you'd wanna like greet before we end the night?
Yeah, again, just for retail sinundayan. If you got the contact information, Mark, yeah,
Oh
guys,
yes, sir.
donate. No, if you can adapt, don't shop the Philippine Aso or the Aspin is a Philippine breed, so we should be proud of that breed. We should take care of that breed. No, yeah, for retail sinundayan. Again, guys, if you have anything to spare, donate, help these guys because they're doing great work. They have over 100 dogs now, a lot of cats, so they need to feed them. There's a lot of food every day. That's a lot of rice. They need rice. They need like a lot of rice, sacks of rice. So this is their contact. These are their contact details. So
And
if you can,
Nate,
let's donate. Tell your friends.
those are the info.
Adapt, don't shop. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
then,
sir.
we just had Mental Health Awareness Day. So, guys, take care of your mental health. I heard that there was a beach in Manila Bay that you can go that now improves your mental health. I don't know if it works. And then, yeah, maybe that's what they said. Yeah, that's what they said. They go to Manila Bay and it improves your mental health. But hey, kidding aside, take care of your mental health, guys. Talk to a friend, talk to a professional. There is no shame in seeking help. No, let's
True.
remove the stigma. So if you know anyone who needs help, now make sure that you make yourself available. You make sure that you reach out. And then yeah, big shout out to Aika who always listens. Aika, she's been encouraging me. No, she's been priming me up to do the TikTok video. And no,
Let's wait for
I will
eight.
not do that. I will not do that. Definitely
It's
won't do
getting
that TikTok.
closer.
Wait
Shout
for
out to my
eight.
parents
Lead the way.
next door.
Let Miggy do TikTok.
Shout out to my brother Paolo. Shout out to the Vilayos in Espina and the Monacilios in Nivell Hills. Guys, now if you want to talk hoops, this is the place to be. Cebuano Hoops live. Check us out every day. Almost every day. Yeah.
Yes, sir. How about you, Jeff? Anybody you want to greet? You're on
Hey,
mute.
again, you're on mute, Jeff. That's you messed up. You messed that one up right
Sorry.
there. See?
I know. I mean, I had such a great intro, but let me get back to it. Again, there's a very popular karaoke song. It says love hurts, love scorns. And if you're the PBA, that's just exactly how we feel. And we're going to end it with that because at the end of the day, we just want what's best. All right. As fans of the game, that's all we really want. Right. So for me, mad shout out to everybody who's supporting Cebuano Hoops Live. We're continuously growing our audience. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. If you're from Cebu, Manila, Davao, Bacolod, Zamboanga, Manila, we are your go-to 8:30 onwards basketball show. We got you covered. So, mad shout out to my girlfriend, Ia Cortez, who's just watching me again from the video camera. This time she couldn't wait. And mad shout out to my brothers, who also are good fans of the show. To everybody watching Cebuano Hoops Live. Stay tuned for our next episode. Cebuano Hoop Ballers. Let us know. We're going to be putting out a graphic. Let us know who you think were people that you were either friends of or that you saw play in Sasafi that should have turned pro.
Yes,
Let us
sir.
know. Let us know. That's
Guys,
interesting. I
definitely
know you have
lot
a
of
lot of friends. Let's see. Let's see.
Yes, sir. We're gonna post that on the page. We're gonna ask for our like followers or viewers to post their top five Cebuano players who could have made it to the PBA or who would have had a good PBA career. All right. So for me, kung ano lang, I would really want to thank all the people supporting us right now. We do already have like if you I was informed by Facebook likers and followers are just like the same. So if you add it up, we almost have 7,000 of them. All right. So thank you so much for the big love. Okay. All right. We're really very thankful. Without you guys,
Seven
and
thousand?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That's more than that's more than what I have in my bank account. Definitely. Yeah.
Liar. Liar.
All right.
One of your how many?
No cap.
Yes, sir. And then big shout out to Jambi who's waiting for me to have dinner because she was decorating the Christmas tree earlier before when I started. So I asked her if we will have dinner. You can niya na daw. So we'll have dinner after this. So kuan today, big shout out to Eming Restauro for the Lakers champion shirt. So if you guys would want to have like if you want to order, you could order it from him. All right, he has some stuff na on hand. So just look for him in Facebook, Iming Restauro. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for the shirt, sir. And then to the Liluan Bubble guys, namo mo ang Saturday group sa Liluan. So maayong gabi Sir Chris, uy, Sir RC, Sir Josiah, maayong gabi. And then for my boys in the office right now, Paul, I know you're watching. And then si Smart, nasa sa office. Hopefully si George, nasa.
Yeah, man. This Uy, man. Dead
Yes, sir.
eye shooter, man. Smooth from the three.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
sent me a video.
Chris
He sent me a video to show you guys. I'll show it in the next episode. It was during one of our games, so I'll show it to you guys soon. All right.
Yeah, I
So
saw that. I think I saw that video.
katong pina Stephen Curry, pinalook
Yeah.
ko dayon.
Yeah.
Gabi so gabi gan. Gabi.
Sorry.
All right. So guys,
Smooth.
thank you so much then again. So we'll see you. We're gonna do this like 3 times a week. Okay, so do expect us to be live on air 3 times a week. And if there is a hot take in the NBA, we're gonna do like an emergency broadcast to bring it to you guys and talk about it. All right. So thank you so much, Cebuano Hoops Live. Thank you so much for the support. Stay safe, guys.